Unbelievable. Can you believe what they've managed to build? We haven't finished it. We've started building a pyramid stage. We haven't finished it, but not to worry. The forecast wasn't too good last night, I must admit, but here we are at your Glasgow, and with building a stage. We will have a stage built by tonight when when everything kicks off. But for now, we've got to wait. We need one thing. We need one thing on that stage, and that's you. I'm going to pull up Malumba now, who's our production assistant and producer on the project. Malumba, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Great.
I've actually got to. We're doing a rocket launch with BBC Somerset in 4 minutes. So basically, what I'd like you to do, would you mind just chatting to everybody? Because in that corner of the room, to be honest, this is where we have to tell you the truth, right? We're actually in a back bedroom in Paddington. We've set a TV studio up, everything here. I was hoping my sons would help, but they've got to go to school today. We've got all the kit there, and I need to put those lights on. Don't let me forget to put the lights on, Malumba. And everything here, and everybody's Skyping in all these computers. I've got an 8-channel vision mixer. We've got 8 laptops. This is going to be unbelievable. So basically, I'm just going to leave Malumba to chat to you while I connect the rockets to the dynamite. Malumba, could you just take it for 2 minutes for me?
Hello, world. I was not expected to be put on stage so quickly. Yo Glasgow. Today is Yo Glasgow. It's my Glasgow. It's Yo Glasgow. It's our Glasgow. And we've got an incredible lineup of speakers, of performers. We're going to have Tom Morley come on very shortly, and he's a rock star and creativity consultant, and he's going to be drumming and giving you all sorts of tips. I think that's probably going to be just a preview, because on Sunday he's going to do an hour-long session which you do not want to miss, 3 to 4. However, at around, I would say, 10:40, judging by the way the schedule is going right now, we've got William Alexander, who is a cardboard master, and he's getting ready. He's somewhere in his cardboard tube station or studio, and he's going to show us, or guide us, rather. I would like to think that you're all home with your cardboards ready to build a pyramid. So that's the highlight of this morning. Thereafter, we have Bounce Theatre, who are going to be teaching kids how to stage their very own play. So it's a very, very, very creative morning. I'm looking forward to it. Then we're going to break for a bit and meet quite a few characters, including what I've been very, very excited about all week, actually, a 7-year-old drum master. Now, apparently he's quite incredible, extremely excited, restless. So I'm very, very much looking forward to meeting Marlon Edwards and his mother, Missy. That's going to be a good time. We've got John Chase, who's the rapper scientist, and he's going to, bring in his flow in the house. I wanted to do something sort of a rap, but I'm a horrible rapper. Shortly after that, we've got Rumena Akhtar, who's going to come in and talk to us about books, reading, and children, all that beautiful stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a very, 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 very good day. I don't know what Nick is up to, but in 1 minute we're going to be in on BBC Somerset.
Nick's back.
Nick's back.
Actually, I'm going to put the lights on. Hang on, let me put the lights on.
Put the lights
Hello,
on.
give me 2 seconds, Radio Somerset. Hang on, just turn my lights on.
I personally, if anybody's listening from anywhere around Glastonbury area, would love if somebody would message us, because we are still desperately looking forward to somebody volunteering to give us a tour of the Vale of Avalon. I've tried to go on community groups and find people to no avail. So please, if you know somebody out there, simply...
Yeah, I'm good. Malumba?
Yes?
Malumba, can you stop talking now, because I'm going to have to cut to the radio. Thank you, sorry.
Oh, the radio's there.
Okay, I'll pop you through then to Simon.
Simon, yeah?
Couple of really interesting pieces in the news today. One of them says that more than half of us don't know what our armed forces do when they're not in combat. 1 in 10 think that they're off, think that when they're going off to war, that's their only purpose. 1 in 7 think that when they're not fighting, their time is their own. More than half of us think that they use tanks to get around on a daily basis. What? Doing the school run with a tank? Third, didn't know that the military help thwart terror attacks or help in the aftermath of floods. Forces charity BFBS, which ran the poll, said, we are hoping to make the public a bit more aware, which is really interesting, isn't it? So we'll talk to, when we talk to him after 1 o'clock this afternoon, we'll talk to Simon about that, his thoughts on that. Also, retail giant Halfords has filled a number of vacancies with ex-service personnel and reservists. They've announced this just ahead of Armed Forces Day. The Bikes and Car Parts Company interviewed hundreds of former servicemen and women since signing the Armed Forces Covenant last year. It's taken on scores of recruits from all across the UK in many of its workplaces. The impact of the scheme shows how signing the covenant has made a real difference, says the Group Chief Executive of Halfords. We found that people with a forces background have some great attributes such as discipline, teamwork and problem solving. So look, if you are ex-services, what did you go on and do? And is it a job that you've kind of drawn on all of your experiences to do, or did you need to do something completely different? Did you need to absolutely go and, clear your head, go and just open a sweet shop? And we know Kenny Muchelney, who is a regular contributor to the programme, ex-forces, runs a sweet shop now. So, that's why I'm thinking of him. But if you are ex-forces, what did you do after the forces, and how do you use your strengths to adapt to your new work environment, or how did you needed to go completely against them? Give me a ring, 0800 678 1566. You can text 81333, start your message with the word Somerset, or you can email somerset@bbc.co.uk.
BBC Radio Somerset.
Join me, Andy Bennett, for the Glastonbury Experience.
Incredible series of Flute, and it just grew and grew and grew. Yeah, we couldn't stop it. We couldn't even slow it down.
3 nights of live shows on what would have been the nights of the Glastonbury Festival 2020.
There was only £1 to come in, so then I had to do it again to try and break even.
There was a rumour that Brad Pitt was on site.
He was there anyway.
We'll go backstage with the artists, workers and the organisers that put this show on.
I've always hoped to be pregnant at Glastonbury.
Do I need to prepare some hot towels?
The Glastonbury Experience, starting tonight at 6 o'clock.
On BBC Radio Somerset.
Make a difference. Now, even though we are covering it, we know that Glastonbury is not on this year. Pyramid Stage in Pilton is there, but it's merely scaffolding. It's not as exciting. However, not too far away from Pilton, there is a replica being built at a Somerset school, and that's way more exciting. The Brookside Academy in Street is working with the arts organisation STEAM to put on its own online festival experience today. It includes student and professional performances broadcast to a pyramid stage in their school field. So let's go to Nick Corsten, who is from the organisation STEAM. Morning, Nick.
Hello, Simon. Can you hear me? Because I don't know what the signal's like.
Yeah, no, you sound good. Yeah, don't worry about it. You sound great. You sound great. So, where are you, Nick?
I'll be honest with you. Firstly, I'd like to say to all your listeners, and I hope you're not going to mind me doing this, Simon, but if they all go to YouTube right now and search for Steamco YouTube channel, Steamco, STEAMCO, they will see me live on the radio chatting to you, and I can hear your little fingers going as well. No. Are your little fingers on the keyboard there as well, Simon?
I think they're quite fat and sausage-like, but yeah. Sorry, what was it again? Steamco?
Steamco. So search for the Steamco YouTube channel, STEAM_CO YouTube channel, and that should take you to our homepage, and you'll see that we're live. And you'll see me in Farmer Evis's field, actually, at the moment.
Well, how exciting. And
tell me when you can see that.
Right, hang on a minute. This is probably the least interesting radio ever, a man typing. Right, hang on.
Well, everybody at home's doing the same.
I've got your channel, Steamco channel, right,
and
here we go.
And you'll see a video with a red dot that says live.
Live now, yeah, there we are. Right,
and can you see me on there?
I can see you. I can see now. Hang on, wait a minute. I'm thinking that's a clever Zoom background. You're not really in that field.
Well, look, I'm flying. I'm flying like a bird because I'm using my imagination because I can, because I was born creative. There we are.
Well, that's lovely. Right, let's cut to the chase, though, having wasted all this time. It's lovely to see you. So, now you are... What are you actually doing with Brookside School in Street?
Absolutely. I think you should ask what I am really. I'm a dad. I'm a dad who cares about creativity, who cares about children, and who cares about all our futures. And today, in collaboration with Mr. Walton, the head teacher at Brookside Primary Academy, we have literally built a pyramid stage out of cardboard in their playing field, a half-size one with some dads with some cardboard rolls, because we want to bring that Glastonbury experience. We love Glastonbury. We're so inspired by it. And we believe that the pyramid stage itself is a symbol of British creativity. It's an art gallery. And if you've ever been to Glastonbury, you'll know that usually all the cool stuff happens in the off-main stage and all those little nooks and crannies, all the interesting things. And what we're doing today, this weekend, is we're inviting everybody in Somerset, everybody in the world, in fact, to come onto our live stream and perform or sing or tell us or share us their Glastonbury moments from that stage. Now, I've got an admission to make, Simon.
Okay.
It's not a real pyramid stage. We've not built it with cardboard, but we've built it with computer code. I hope you're not going to hang up on me now, are you? Because I told you
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're all about honesty here at the BBC. That's fine.
Well, that's good. So basically, we're using our imagination because we can. As I say, as children, we were all born creative. And if we're not careful, we can let that get taught out of us or we can not use it. And we're having a lesson. In half an hour, we've got a cardboard engineer who is going to show children and their families how to build a pyramid stage out of cardboard. He literally built an ice cream van out of cardboard. Wow. And he's doing his workshop. Well, check this out. I don't know if you've been to London, but the London tube trains, he's built one of those. And he's building a pyramid stage inside a cardboard tube train. I mean, you can't make this up.
So this is all really. This is all online, though. This is virtual. You've not kind of got a whole crowd of people there.
Yeah. If you're watching now, I'm going to show you the reality of this. So basically, I'm in a room at the moment, and that room on the roof has got. Let me just show you. It's got on the roof there a mirror ball. Because I'm a bit of a disco dad, so I'm going to take that down actually, because that's for Saturday night. We've got Danny Rampling DJing Saturday night.
Wow. Okay. Now he's famous. I've heard of him.
You've heard of him, have you?
Yeah.
So Danny Rampling's DJing Saturday night. We've got Glenn Matlock from the Sex Pistols. We've got Martin and Gary Kemp coming on. Now, if you look at that camera, this is my bedroom.
Yeah.
And I'm in Paddington. I've literally built a TV studio in my bedroom. And can you see on the windowsill just behind me over there? Can you see what that is there, Simon?
I can see. Apologies if you're just listening to this on the radio, thinking, what are they talking about? I can see on the window. It looks like cool. It's a rocket. It's a rocket.
It is a rocket. And what I'd like to do now, Simon, with your permission and with your thanks and with your help, that is a dynamite rocket.
Okay.
And on my table, I've got a launch pad, and it doesn't always work first time, but I'm going to fire that dynamite rocket into the sky.
Okay.
With dynamite, it's going to go 500 feet in the air to inspire our children to be creative, to use their creativity, to not just aim high, but aim higher than this rocket can go, because this is the art of rockets. We do the art of robots, the art of cooking, coding, painting, photography. You're going to give me a countdown, Simon?
I can if you like. Okay, 5 or 10?
My wife
what would you rather?
We're launching the rocket.
Okay, yeah.
So my wife's outside filming it.
Okay.
10.
9.
10.
8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Oh, that was very good.
What do you think of that?
That was
What
great.
do you think of that, Simon?
That was lovely. The noise was great. The rocket doesn't appear to have moved very much. So.
What?
Oh, well, there we go. It's gone. It's gone.
Did you not see it go?
No, well, it's a satellite delay. The radio's clearly quicker than
delay, have you?
the satellite. Look at that. The noise was good. Anyway, so where is that going to land?
I don't know. I'm insured. Don't worry. I got 50 million insurance for that, and there's no traffic on the roads. But
right.
but the whole point is we want people to film that rocket landing in their backyard, pretending it's landed in their garden. Make one out of paper. We'll stick them all together over the weekend, and yeah, that's what we're all about, really.
Okay, so that's the first.
Malumba, have you got any slots on main stage at the moment? Is there one at 4:30? Isn't there? Hang on, he's going to
fake rocket landing in there. And anyone else in Somerset who feels the urge to join in, they're more than welcome to as well. Brilliant. All right, lovely. And so now you're with you mentioned sort of Danny Rampling's coming on and Glenn Matlock from the Sex Pistols. So throughout the weekend, you've got actual Glastonbury performances, but we're able to perform as well on your virtual pyramid stage?
You sound like a kind of closet Alan Partridge there. Have you got a hidden skill or a hidden art, Simon, you'd like to pop on the stage? Because I can guarantee you pyramid stage spot. Probably squeeze you in this afternoon. I've got Malumba here. Malumba, have you got any slots on main stage later? Can you hear me, Malumba? Malumba, have you got any slots on main stage at the moment? Is there one at 4:30, isn't there? Hang on, he's going to quick. Oh, he's busy. He's busy. We won't worry about that.
All
Carry
right.
on,
Well,
Simon.
again,
Yes,
now you see Malumba.
office.
It's lovely to meet Malumba, but for the people who are listening on the radio, they've got no idea what's going on. So,
I keep forgetting you've only got sound, haven't you?
Don't forget we're doing our job at this end while you're doing yours at that end. But
it's like audio subtitles.
It's basically we're all involved if we come and watch your stream, and we can be part of Glastonbury, even though there is no Glastonbury.
Absolutely. And this is by the people, for the people, with the people. So we want you involved. We want everybody to come in. We want to hear stories. We want to hear memories. We want to hear all sorts of things, basically. And we want people on the stage.
And
it's
the team,
the
team at Brookside School, how easy were they to get involved with this? And what have you got from them so far?
Well, I'll be honest with you. You probably may not have seen the video, but we had a drone video of the school with the pyramid stage in it. I shot that 2 years ago when I first started working with Mr. Walton and Brookside Academy. He got me in for one of our half-day Rocket Kids sessions to inspire the children with creativity. And I'm using all that footage. So if anybody complains that the children, we've got photos coming out later, and if anybody complains that the children are sitting too close, then
Pre-lockdown. Yeah, excellent.
Exactly.
All right. Well, listen, it's been really nice talking to you today. It's been a surreal 10 minutes that I don't think I'll forget in a hurry. And listen, I hope it goes well. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for your support, Simon. BBC Radio Somerset, rocking it for the world. Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Bless you. I'll see you on stage at 4:30.
Make a difference.
We'll get done by the copyright police. You've got to be very careful with all these things.
20 seconds and counting.
I'm going to cut to a video of that we did
T-minus 15
a couple of weeks ago. Homer Hickam, a man who wrote a book called Rocket
11,
Boys to inspire 10, kids to aim high.
9.
Here we go. Hold tight. This is what we just did. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
Can you see it? Taking off here in London with a mother and 2 daughters, flying all the way to Leeds. Look at this, it's landed in Leeds. Wow, so exciting. And their mum literally made that rocket for them and threw it out the top window for them at that time. And that's what we want to see happen across the country today. So I'm hoping to speak to the legendary Tom Morley now. I've got a spinning wheel. I don't know if I can hear him. Tom, can you hear me?
I can hear you all right. No, I can.
Tom, I haven't got a picture of you. I've just got a black spinning wheel. Is your camera on?
It's on, yeah.
I've just got a little black spinning wheel. Can you see? Can you
there
see?
all morning.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
You sure it's not a little background image that you selected, or so you can see that? Have you got zoom capability to zoom me?
Yeah. If you send me.
I'll tell you what we'll do, Tom. Should we get going with the next activity? You are to come back at 11 o'clock for a couple of minutes, or would you rather?
Yeah. I'll come back at 11.
Should we do that? Well, I don't. Maybe it's obviously something at your end, and I've never seen that spinning logo before. You haven't got camera on pause or anything like that, have you?
All right. Let me just see if there's a camera. It's probably trying to pick up the camera on my phone, actually. Yeah, come back at 11.
We'll come back at 11. Okay, Tom, all good. Can't wait. We've heard Tom Morley. We look forward to seeing him later on. Let's go back to Malumba now and see what Malumba's up to. We are making this up as we go along. This is a totally live show. Tom Morley is doing a big co-drum circle. So Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock, we're doing an outside afternoon little big lunch, where we want everybody outside having their lunch. And then we're going to come back in, or you can do it outside, actually, no, do it outside, and do a drum circle. So 1,000 people in the country, or if not the world, in a Zoom call with Tom Morley from Scritti Politti. He's the former drummer of amazing 80s band Scritti Politti, about 80s, whatever, they're brilliant. And we're all going to drum together. So he was just going to give us a little taster of that. So we'll get him back at 11 o'clock. If you can hear lots of humming, it's a bit like being at Glastonbury when you've got those generators. You wake up in the middle of the night, in the morning, in the afternoon, the generators thumping away. That's because I've got some fans all around because it's so hot in here. But it's just like being at a festival. It's all part of the vibe. Oh, fantastic. Tom's back. Brilliant. Let's get Tom on. Looks like Tom's there. So let's pull Tom up. Fantastic. Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Brilliant. So I was just telling everybody you're doing 1,000 people in a Zoom drum circle on Sunday afternoon. You are just off the scale.
Who knows how many are going to turn up? I mean, 1 million could turn up, but.
Well, you've been live. We've been live on BBC Somerset just now, so I think 4 people listened to that in the morning.
All right, great.
Which is all good. So I was just telling them about the work you do, Vibe Navigator, the Rockstar Activator. There's never been a time that we've needed you more. Than this moment. You know, creativity in this country, we need inspiration. Coming out of lockdown, you've been inspiring people through lockdown. Why don't you just tell everybody what you've been up to in lockdown and tell them what you're going to do on Sunday quickly? Give them a taster.
At first I thought I'd be out of a job because all these drums behind me, I've been driving around the country, or if I've been working abroad, I've been hiring drums abroad to play with people, to bring people together. And the whole thing about drumming and rhythm is that you need to be sort of locked in, right into the groove. You know, everybody needs, and yet I've found when I've done sessions on Zoom, as every musician has found, there's a thing called latency. Latency is the difference between all our signals. So we can't play in time. However, I've soon discovered that if we go into gallery view, either on Skype or Zoom or whatever platform we use, we can see everybody, and they're playing to a common beat that I'm broadcasting to them, or I'm playing on this drum. They're playing with me, so they can hear me. They can't hear everybody else muted. However, they can see 30 people really going for it. So if I say, you know, all right, get some wooden spoons and don't play anything, just bring them to the screen and back. They see a whole screen. And it's quite remarkable what it does for performance. And what we have in advantage over physical conferences, I mean, there's some amazing things come out. It's a paradigm shift. What we have as an advantage is people can't sit there at the back and go, oh, I don't really do this sort of thing. You know, there's always some people, or they'd prefer to check their emails on their phone. Whereas they become totally, you could see them like pieces in the jigsaw puzzle. They just don't fit if they have that. So they eventually join in, and then they start to have a good time. So it's a way of the world kind of receiving permission, either from me or other facilitators, to actually try something out, because who wouldn't benefit from just sort of going like that? You know, we're spending all our time sitting down looking at screens. Let's move a bit. So I've discovered that if you get 2 wooden spoons from the kitchen, and this is what we'll be doing on Sunday, and I can give you a quick taster today. With 2 wooden spoons you can play a rhythm called the clave rhythm, which you'll hear a lot in Cuba, but it's a worldwide rhythm. It's just this. Da, 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 da. And the great thing is also, if I wrote to 1,000 people at a conference and said, bring some wooden spoons, 10 people would turn up, and 990 would say, oh, I never read the email. So the good thing is you'll have something. Everyone's got something in their home, even if it's only a pair of chopsticks. You can do that. And if I say, okay, get something to shake. Nobody would have a shaker in it, or very few people, but everyone's got some vitamin pills or something. So I'm going to show you a couple of other things, and then I'll just play you a track. And if you are there with something that you could play along, here's a tin can.
All I'd say, Tom, Tom, can you hear me? Can you be careful not to play any copyright music, because they'll throw the channel down. Is that an option?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I've selected all non-copyright.
Yeah,
this is all This is all music I've paid for on a website called Audible. Audio Blocks. And Audio Blocks sells people like me library music. I pay something like £150 a year, and for that I can use any of their music for free. Well, for free. I pay £150 for it, but I can download as much as I want. It's a bit like, you know, when you go on holiday and there's an all-you-can-eat buffet. I can eat from that buffet musically all year, and nobody's going to tell me off.
Binging on music instead of Netflix. How about that?
Binging on music. So I'm going to play you one of those tracks now, and normally I would kind of patch through, so you'll probably hear it in quite a tinny way. But if you have a shaker, or you have some sticks that you can just play the clave, or a tin can. You're here. You can just. It's quite a groove for a piece of library music. It's pretty groovy.
Come on, Malumba. Loving it, Tom. Good vibes on a Friday morning. Let's see who's on.
Can you hear that?
We can, yeah, it's good.
Okay, I'll play a bit more. Could be as simple as.
I should point out that the beer is provided by the Co-op. We're doing a beer festival, so I've got my Punk IPA cans. And it's Punk IPAs. That's got to be appropriate, hasn't it, Tom?
Yeah. So, I've got lots of music like that we can just play along to, which we will be doing on Sunday for a whole hour. And generally I do this on Zoom, so I make sure I share my computer sound, so the music you hear out there is as clear as if you were just playing off iTunes or streaming from any of the streaming platforms you use. So people wear headphones that get really good sound, and they just watch each other play. It's quite remarkable. And I've done sort of business groups in Dubai, and within a minute, all in the chat starts racking up. This is the best Zoom call ever. It's the best. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable. And I say, it's only possible. You'll hear these words, paradigm shift, and go, what's that mean? That means the whole world changes. But actually, the whole world of music has changed, because for all other centuries, we've said we have to play in time for it to be music. In 2020, we're discovering that you can play in a band with 30, 60, 100,000 people, everybody out of time with each other, but it feels like you're in a band because you're watching each other. So we're making visual music, which who would have thought that? If you'd have told me that a year ago, if you'd told me that 4 months ago, I wouldn't have believed it. I'd have said you're mad. And now I'm kind of pioneering it. And,
it's funny, Tom, you know, because we say that art is the combination of creativity, tools and people. Now those tools 30 million years ago were red paint on a caveman's hand when he first drew, because that was invented after he was born. They call it technology. Technology is something that was invented after you were born. So you are the epitome of art. You know, the creativity, the tool is a drum or a piece of cardboard or a bit of stick, and the person is you. And the fact that you are here with us today means so much. I can't thank you enough for your support for this, Tom, because I know you're very busy. You travel all over the world working with blue chip corporations who need you to keep their companies going. You are the oil in their machines and their cogs. I used to work for an advertising agency, and they said that the worst day we would ever have would be better than the best day working in a bank or an insurance company or a law firm.
Yeah.
And then they send you along and have one good day a year, so that's their best day.
Well, thank you very much.
But what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about that, Tom?
My whole thing, and it takes a while, you know, for young people especially watching. People say, "What's your niche? Stay in your lane." You get all these things trying to compartmentalize you. Now, you do have to do that to sell yourself, but it's taken me 60 years to come up with 2 words, which are rock star activator, and that has partly come from talking to clients in the bar after events. And I think I'm going to talk all about the neuroscience and what it's doing to us chemically, and what it's doing to our emotions. And all they want to talk about is what was life like on the road in a band. So the whole the rock star thing, I thought, I'm never going to get away from this. And the activator is exactly like say, you know, all right, just do this, everybody, just do that, and they start to feel. I mean, it's I've just made a movie about it. It's a metaphor for discretion. It's what's called in the business world discretionary effort. Discretionary means, am I going to use that energy or not? Am I going to keep it for when I get home, or when I get on the golf course, or when I do something that's more important to me? And the thing about discretionary effort is you don't use it up. It's energy. If you use it at work, you'll have more energy when you get home. As you know, Nick, from being in the advertising agency, you wouldn't go home going, "Oh, what a terrible day, they sapped me." You'd go home thinking, "Yeah, all right, what now? You know, I'll clear the garage out just to stay creative." Well, maybe not every day, but you know what I mean? It's like energy just keeps being built. So that's my life, really, just keeping that energy going. And of course, it keeps me going. I'm 66 years old. I lived a rock star life. I shouldn't even be standing up. But here I am, bouncing around like a teenager. It's mad.
Tom, you're amazing. You know, we have this phrase at Steamco, art connects. Talk to me about connections and art and in that context very quickly. I know we've got Will waiting.
My wife said, a couple of years ago when I was trying to come up with this Rockstar Activator thing, or a tag, I said, what is the one thing? She's known me 20 years. I said, what's the one thing about me? And she said, it's connection. If I had to pick one word, it would be connection, because you're always trying to connect people. Even if we go on holiday, right, and we're at some beach resort, and I say, all right, I'm not going to offer to get anything going, no singing, no drumming. I'm not even going to make any eye contact. We're just going to be here on our own. After about 2 days, this happened in Sri Lanka. The maitre d' came up to me and said, Tom, we hear you're a drummer. It's the chef's birthday. I wonder if you'd mind just playing a rhythm for him. We've sent one of the people on reception to the market to get you a drum. So I ended up connecting this whole thing, trying not to, you know. So of course we all had a great time and we got to know everybody, but even when I'm trying not to connect people, it seems that I have this connecting thing around me. But so I've stopped fighting it and just enjoy it now.
Fantastic. I'll be honest with you, I'm just finishing off a PowerPoint because I want to show a couple of photos. We've had this pyramid stage built out of cardboard, and I'd just like to show you what it looks like. So can you just talk for another 30 seconds about what you're going to do on Sunday?
The trouble is I can't see your screen.
Okay, you'll see it. It's all being screened. Don't worry, you can see it on the stream after, but just you'll see it in a moment.
Yeah.
Go for it. Tell us about Sunday very quickly. A last minute plug for your session Sunday. Yeah,
Sunday. I've been putting this meetup group together for some time. There's about 1,000 people subscribed to it. It's meetup.com and it's called Drum Circle London. Drum Circle London. And if you sign up there, you'll hear about anything that's coming up. You'll get no spam at all. You'll only ever hear about drum circles that I'm doing. Generally, everything I've done in lockdown has been free on that because I've earned my money elsewhere. So you can come for free when it's physical and people come here. We do them in a local hall.
Actually, Tom, can I stop you there, Tom, for a moment? I'm sorry to butt in. I don't like hearing you say that you do work for free like that. I know you're very generous and you support us, but I don't want anybody getting any idea that you were in the 80s, you're a big rock star, you've lived the life. You're not Elton John. I know that you're in. I believe you're probably in rented accommodation. You're 66. You need every penny you can get. And I've got one bit of advice for you this weekend, and that's to check out a thing called Patreon, where people can subscribe to you and put £1 in a month to be exclusive access onto your. I know you know all this stuff, but Tom. Yeah. I don't want anybody thinking that Tom Morley has got a cupboard full of Armani jackets and suits and Jean-Paul Gaultier crazy clothes. This is a man who wears his heart on his sleeve. And the day that Tom Morley launches a Patreon site, I want everybody watching this now to support this man, because he is an ultimate rock star who has given his heart and soul to creativity, given his heart and soul to community, and given his heart and soul to the world, quite simply. He travels all over the world, but those gigs, you get a lot of money for the half hour you're on stage. You don't get paid for travel. You don't get paid for sitting alone in a hotel. Tom Morley, we salute you. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say, but we're certainly going to see you on Sunday. Salute you, Tom Morley. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Carry on.
I'll just say one thing about that to anybody listening, and you're absolutely right. You know, artists are asked to do work for promotion. Come and play in our restaurant. We'll promote you to our guests. You know, no other profession does that happen. So I would agree that the only reason I do things for free is because I seem to have been born with a generous spirit. So if I'll get paid £2,000 to do a virtual thing in Dubai for 45 minutes, that means that I can just be generous. That's all it is. I'm not out there trying to make tiny little contacts by doing free stuff. I don't need to. But I like sometimes to just give, because certainly some of the families who turn up here when I'm doing physical drum circles, if it's a single mum and 3 kids, she can't afford to pay what I would charge. So I would rather just say, okay, this is a service.
We say that Steamco is a project, a collaboration. Tom, can you move to your left just about 4 inches?
My left.
Yeah, a little bit more. That's perfect. You'll see why when you see the stream. Not too far. That's probably a little bit too far. Don't worry. When we started Steamco, we said it was about a collaboration of parents, teachers, artists, creatives, and the local community working together. And I was told off for saying parents, because you have to say carers. So we actually merged the two together. We say #creative carers, because creative carers are people who care about children, who care about creativity, and care about all our futures. I don't think it's a secret. Tom, you haven't had children yet, or any of you know of. But the point is, you give back in spades. And the great thing about being a creative carer, and we've got this thing called the Rocket Kids Club, which is an online safe place for kids and creative carers to be inspired, to create and share. It's like a secure Facebook where they can see people like you. They can do stuff. And a lot of kids can't access their parents. They might be juggling 3 0-hour contract jobs. They might be working in the city, but they're still not there for their kids. But if we can connect people like you using the technology that you've been talking about today in a safe, creative, inspiring way, these kids, and we're not calling it an after-school club, we're not calling it a homework club, we're calling it an out-of-school club. So when kids are out of school, whether they've been excluded, they're isolated, they're shut down, whatever, they can come to that safe place and connect with people like you. Tom, you are the definition of a creative carer. We're proud to have you as one of our inspirators. We'll see you Sunday afternoon.
Thank you
so much. We salute you. Thanks, Tom. How?
Thanks, Nick.
What a legend. What an utter legend that man is. So fantastic to connect with Tom Morley. So let's cut back to, it seems a bit of a shame to put a PowerPoint slide up after Tom. I just want to show you that this is all about you. We want to get you involved. Now, who's that ringing me there? Will Alexander. Okay. So this is exciting. This is very exciting. Hello, Will. Can you wait for me just a minute? Hello, Will. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi.
Can you hold on just 2 minutes?
Of course, yeah.
Fantastic. It won't even be 2. I just like to set you up, because I don't just want to crash into you, Tom, Will. We've just had a fantastic session from one of the most inspiring people in the world, Tom Morley, who I know has done Glastonbury. He's done the campfires. He's done off main stage. He's been on stages. It doesn't matter. He is the sort of person, if you bumped into him in a dark corner with one of his drums, I'm not allowed to call them bongos, matembes, whatever they are. Sorry, Tom. If you bumped him into a corner, that would be what we call a #Glasto moment. that you would remember for the rest of your life. You might have gone there to see Coldplay, you might have gone there to see Oasis, all the big headliners at the BBC are playing on repeat all weekend. But if you bumped into somebody like Tom Morley in a toilet queue, if you bumped into him under a tree, if you bumped into him backstage, that would have made that £200–400 you spent for that weekend worth every penny. And another person who's on a scale with that is this chap we're seeing in a moment, who has been the inspiration for us, because he's a cardboard engineer. He makes things out of cardboard. We're going to see some of the cool stuff he's made today. But in the playground that you see behind me now is a shot of last night where we were literally building a pyramid stage from cardboard tubes and cardboard boxes. But they were not cardboard made from wood pulp, they're cardboard made from computer code, because that's a computer graphic superimposed over a photograph that I took 2 years ago when I was at Brookside Academy. I actually paid out another couple of £100 for an artist, an art of drone flying, if you like. A man turned up with a drone and he photographed the site from the air, and there is a photograph of that pyramid stage finished, clad in cardboard. We're not going to see much more than that. Well, actually I'll give you a sneaky peep. There it is, complete with children sitting in front of it. And if anybody says those children are sitting too close, there's no social distancing, I'm going to report you to the Department of Education, I think you need to get a life, basically, because it's a photo that was taken 2 years ago. It's a simulated image, it's a computer graphic, and if that's offending anybody, if anybody thinks we're winding people up, they don't understand the story, because the story, the strategy, the objective here is to bring the conversation about creativity in our schools, out of schools, and connect it with the world of work and wider society. And that's what we've been tasked to do. Darren Henley, the Chief Executive of the Arts Council, issued a demand, a call to all creatives 3 or 4 years ago in Sunderland after Brexit. He said, let's ask what if. Let's start a creativity revolution. Let's ask what if I built a pyramid stage in a school playing fields in Somerset. Let's ask what if a bunch of children were inspired. Let's ask what if people built pyramid stages in their own bathrooms, bedrooms, gardens. Let's ask what if they made them out of toilet rolls or big tubes, and maybe the kids made a den like I used to, with a ladder and a bit of blanket, and had my beans on toast and listen with mother. I could just hear it in the kitchen because the radio was too big to move under that little bit of blanket. But now kids can have tablets, so they can stream in with us and they can take the Rocket Kids Club into their little den. And we want them to build pyramid stages like the one you see behind me here. And who better to inspire them to do that than the incredible, incredible man I've got on the screen here now. Will Alexander has got a cardboard box on his stage. Will Alexander, can you hear me? Because you are live on the Your Glasto live stream from Somerset. Will Alexander, hello. Wow, what have you been up to? This is fantastic.
Hi Nick, am I loud and clear?
You are very loud, you're very clear, and it's an absolute pleasure to see you this morning, young man. Fantastic.
Lovely to see you, Nick.
What have you been up to? Blimey, what have you got there? That looks fantastic.
Well, I have the pyramid stage from Glastonbury.
Wow.
Shrunk down to, I'm not sure what scale, but it's tabletop. And then in the background I have some Glastonbury appropriate paintings creating the atmosphere.
Absolutely wicked, wicked. Talk us through the building process. And I think it's important that people don't feel it's just prescriptive. This is just one way of doing it, isn't it? Obviously lots of ways of expressing your creativity and building a stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to turn the volume up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm going to just talk a little bit about building a pyramid at home. You know, initially I thought, I'll collect a load of toilet rolls and I'll build it all out of toilet rolls. I certainly gave that a go, and this was my toilet roll version, which is quite fun as well.
I love that. That's fantastic.
So I just kind of went for it with the toilet roll version.
There's some
but it proved to be pretty tricky, actually, to get all the angles right, you know, and then actually to attach toilet rolls together and to make anything reasonably solid. But yeah, it can be done out of toilet rolls if you really want to. But I think my lesson from that was maybe when you get that little inkling of this is harder than it needs to be, you know, then return to the good trusted 2-ply and go for it, because obviously this flat cardboard certainly gives you the shape you need.
I think one of the things I'd say, Will, as well, actually, is that what we're trying to create here is an art gallery. If you define an art gallery as a place where you put art, but it's your art gallery, so it's where you might put some pictures, some objects you find this weekend, you might even act a little play out in it. So, you know, it's very flexible, and I think what you're showing here is there's no one answer, there's no right answer. I mean, you had the triangles and the pyramid there, there was some maths going on there, wasn't there? And the triangles and the angles and the engineering and making sure...
the triangles. I mean, when I started doing that, doing the toilet roll version, you know, I just looked at some pictures and I thought, oh, that's about the right shape. I didn't do any research, and it wasn't working. You know, I wasn't making a pyramid, and I did have to do a little bit of research. I had to find out what the pyramid at Glastonbury is based on. You know, and it's based on the Great Pyramid at Giza, isn't it? So, having done that bit of research and found out about the first one being built in 1971, was it, in Glastonbury, and finding out that it's based on the Great Pyramid in Giza, and that is based on a square with equilateral triangles. You know, once you've got the maths bit right, then it does start to take shape. But yeah, it was definitely tricky with that, and much easier with some nice, you know, flat cardboard. You can draw out your square, you can draw out your equilateral triangles, and you can kind of just go for it. I don't know if most of the watchers know that the equilateral triangle obviously has 3 equal sides. I've done this one at 50 centimeters square base, but you know, you could do it any size you liked, really, any size you liked, as long as you have a square base and 3 equilateral triangles for the back and a small equilateral triangle for the top here. So yeah, a square base. I mean, everyone can draw a square base. Even if you don't have a set square, you know, all you've got to do is draw your 20 centimeters, do another mark further down, 20 centimeters. There you go. So all I would do is draw my 20 centimeters a couple of times, put on a couple of marks, 20 centimeters, 20 centimeters, 20 centimeters, draw my line, and there we go. You know, so I can cut that one out super quick.
We need a bit of a health and safety warning at this point, please, Will.
Pardon?
Can we have a bit of a health and safety warning about sharp knives and grown-ups and adults?
Oh yes, of course, yeah. When using a sharp knife, then make sure that you have a nice long ruler that you can cut along the edge so that it's not near your hands. Make sure that you cut away from your body, okay? If you are under the age of 12, certainly get some parental assistance when using a Stanley knife. Use scissors if you need. Scissors are absolutely fine for cutting cardboard. So, here we go. I have my nice square base. Absolutely fantastic. And now I need 3 equilateral triangles. So again, I have my 20 centimeter length already. I'm going to go in 10 centimeters to find the middle. So I find the middle, and then I just draw a perpendicular line all the way up, and that will give me the center. That will give me the center of where my other 2 sides need to meet. Okay? So there we have it. There we have the center, because that's in line with the middle of the base, and that is essentially going to be like the top of the pyramid. The top of the pyramid, very important. The top of the pyramid channeled the energy of the sun. I have a little cardboard sun here in the middle of my kind of Glastonbury nighttime extravaganza. So here's my cardboard sun, and that energy will be coming down into the top of the pyramid. That is why they built it as a pyramid. That is why the first pyramid stage was built, because of this idea of channeling the energy from up above down into it. Okay, so super easy. Cut out my triangle. Again, I've got my Stanley knife here, got my strong ruler, so I'm not going to cut my hands. So here we go, one equilateral triangle, and it has the right size base to attach onto here. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so I am going to need another 2 of those, and then I would be ready to move on. And I'm going to make it easy for myself. I'm going to use this line again. Find my 10 centimeters in the middle. Draw up to here, just get a rough idea of where the middle is. Funnily enough, it will be 20 centimeters from this last middle here. So that's a lot better. Yeah, the math side of it is very important. You know, the Egyptians were obviously big on math. And you will not get a nice looking triangle unless you do this type of thing. I mean, I must say, when I was starting with the toilet roll version, I thought, oh, this will be easy, anyone can do this, and actually it was harder. It's a lot easier using the flat cardboard and using the toilet rolls. Though, as you see, I have used the toilet rolls for my lighting gig, and we'll come to those later. Now, just to show, it's not too bad cutting this out of with the scissors as well. So you can cut out your cardboard sides with the scissors, should you need. Here we go. Lovely and straight. Yeah, you do need to keep it nice and straight, otherwise you will not get a good join. So super, a couple of sides ready, and as you can see,
I don't know if you've have you got the video running there as well, William? Will, can you see the video on?
I mean, yeah, I can actually see the YouTube. Yeah.
So can you see? Can you see?
Find it kind of distracting.
Not to worry. Can you see the cardboard tube I've got here?
Actually.
Takes a few seconds to go through. I know there's a slight delay. Make sure you're up to speed. But basically, I've got one of those big cardboard tubes from a carpet shop just down the road.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah,
he's given me about,
now, yeah.
He's given me about 15 of those. Now, with these, you could actually make a den, and you could actually get under it, couldn't you? So I'm thinking of nipping out up the park with my lumber maybe tonight, and we could maybe make one of those and actually have our tea in it tonight. That'd be cool. Have our beer festival in there.
Yeah, absolutely. you could certainly make a den with some big cardboard tubes, or even with some big cardboard boxes. You know, obviously, kids love getting into their cardboard boxes, don't they?
I think it's got to be pointy though. The only thing we have to ask is it has to have a point on the top. And I would say that all weekend we are running a competition. The best cardboard model we get over the weekend could win a JD robot. This is an artificial intelligence robot worth £500, and we're raffling this, or not raffling it, whoever does the best cardboard model. Today it's the pyramid stage. Tomorrow, looks like he's putting glue on JD, doesn't it? Tomorrow it's spy gadgets, and we've got another amazing cardboard modeler who's going to show us some spy gadgets. And Sunday we're going to make robots out of cardboard. So there's something there for everybody, hopefully. All you STEM and STEAM and tech heads, that'd be fun. And in terms of prizes, we've got that. We've also got, check this out, spy gadgets tomorrow. We've only got the latest book by Alex Ryder called Nightshade. And Alex Ryder is going to write your name in it and sign it for you. So that's the third prize. There's 3 of those. And we've also got 3 little robots. Don't know where my little JD robot's gone now. Maybe I'll put him somewhere. I'll get him out later on. Oh, there we go. Look, we've got these. These are super little robots. These are little robots with wheels and motors, and they work with Lego. They're fantastic. They're usually £45. We've got a shop because we've got some of these imported from Australia. We'll show you those over the weekend. And we're also going to do some t-shirt prizes. There's going to be about 20 prizes. And I don't know how many people are watching now. Let's have a look and see how many people are watching. 3 on YouTube. I don't know if anybody's there on Bill in Anchorage. Bill in Anchorage has just joined on Twitter. It doesn't tell me how many people are on there, and that's now got an error on it. But the point is, worth entering, not to win, but to just get creative and have a fantastic weekend. And if you built a full-size one, you could watch Glastonbury in it, like your den. Sorry, Will, I was rabbiting away there. I'll let you get on with it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's great, Nick. No, nice to have a bit of distraction. So, I mean, all I did in that section was put a bit of glue along the edge of the cardboard, and a little bit of sellotape over the top to just hold it in place while the glue dries. And then I've done the same on this side, and you can see that, you know, your pyramid can start to take shape pretty quickly.
So next up, I think we're running a little bit late, but it doesn't matter terribly because we've got a bit of time after. We've got a long lunch. Oh no, we've still got time. Yeah, we've got about 25 minutes left with Will. 11:30, we've got a theatre company coming in to talk about theatre and how you could make a theatre and how you could make a play inside your pyramid stage. Then we're breaking for lunch. Then we've got the amazing Mark Anderson. He's one of the cleverest people in Britain when it comes to technology and creative tools with tech. So apps and iPads and tablets and computers. He's brilliant. He's doing half an hour. Then we've got somebody from Brookside Primary, Marlon Edwards, is going to do some drumming. If you're watching Marlon, we can't wait to see you because we've heard that you got yourself a green screen, which means we're going to be able to put you in front of the school there. That's going to be brilliant. And oh my goodness, John Chase, we saw him at a festival, Camp Festival, like a couple of summers ago. He's a rapping scientist, so he's brilliant. We've then got a school librarian from Birmingham who's going to talk about books and reading and give you some top books to read. Oh my goodness, this is brilliant. So we've got Knit Hawks at 4 o'clock. Now Knit Hawks, have you heard of a band called The Prodigy? They're a really big Glasgow band. Well, he signed them and manages Liam now, so that's amazing. So he's coming on to talk to you about if you want to get into the music business, if you're a DJ or a rapper or a musician, he's going to give you a few top tips and tell you his story because his story is incredible. I think somebody actually said he was one of the most influential people in British dance music once because he ran a record label called Positiva at EMI, so he's brilliant. We've then got Ed Finch and David Rodriguez. That's an adult one because that's all about the 80% we have in common. That 80%, because in fact we always argue about the bits over here. I don't want to tidy my bedroom, I don't like that for breakfast, those little things, but in fact we forget all the lovely things we've got in common. So I don't like my mum because she makes me eat Weetabix or healthy food, but I love all the other stuff. Education, there's lots in education that we argue about, but in fact the 80%, children and maths and reading and creativity, they're all there. So that's going to be a very interesting debate because David Rodriguez is a really quite a passionate activist on very, 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 very progressive education, almost anarchist. Then we're breaking till 7 and we've got Chris Sullivan, Fire Pit Chat, Robert Elms, John Mitchinson. Oh my goodness, we've got so much on tonight, but today's Lenny's Day. A little lad from Sheffield's going to play piano on the pyramid stage. That's going to be incredible. So how's Will getting on? Let's see how Will's getting on there. How you doing, Will?
Yeah, good. You know, so I've just made this little 20 centimetre square base pyramid. As you can see, it doesn't take too long to knock one of those together.
That could be a little gallery. People,
you know, one of the most iconic bits is this little bit at the top, isn't it? That sticks out when you're Glastonbury. You see the top of the pyramid, and then you have this kind of almost like a porch bit or something. I don't know what you call that bit, but that's quite an iconic shape on the pyramid stage. So those would be the next bits to add, and they wouldn't be too difficult to make. Again, this would just be another equilateral triangle, and I decided, sort of roughly looking at it, that it was about a third of the length of the sides. So on a 20 centimetre one, you're talking about at kind of 7.5 centimeters for that little equilateral triangle just at the top there. Super easy again. So we just draw that out. Let's go 7.5 centimeters, 7.5 centimeters.
I'm actually going to pull up. I'm going to pull up a picture, actually, Will, because I don't want anybody to think. I don't want anybody thinking that we've just got any old person in here to do cardboard modelling for us today. So when I first met Will, actually, at a festival called Latitude, and he was walking around with a big cardboard box on his shoulder, but that cardboard box had actually been cut and glued and shaped, and actually looked like this. He'd actually built an ice cream van, full-size ice cream van, out of cardboard, and had some straps that would hold it in over his shoulders, and he could walk around the festival giving people ice creams. Do you remember that, Will?
I do, Nick, but I must remind you that one actually had it was on it was on cardboard wheels, and it even had a cardboard engineered steering system. So it wasn't on my shoulders, that one.
So you could actually
there was one on my shoulders from art college, which was a car. But the one you saw me in, it was actually on, I'd engineered the steering mechanisms and all kind of stuff. So that was probably the most technical one I ever did, in a sense of a cardboard object for performance. Though I have since done some sculptural stuff, which was quite complicated, but kind of just sat in the gallery. So yeah, there's the picture of it, and. Yeah, absolutely. I was standing on the ground, so was the van, and I could push the van along. So that was a nice little break. There you go. You see the wheels. So here you go. I just made this last little equilateral triangle just to fit at the top.
Fantastic. Let me get that. Hang on. Let me get that up full screen again. I've got to press that and that and that. There we go.
What do you think of my mandala, Nick? My cardboard mandala here.
Oh wow! Remind me what a mandala is. Excuse my complete. I've just had a complete brain wave.
Well, it's a sun, isn't it? A mandala.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's card. Hold it close to the camera. Bit lower. Oh wow! And turn that round so we can see some perspective on it. And oh wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you've obviously just, when did you make that specially, or is it something?
You know, Nick, if I didn't have one already, I would have made one. Yeah.
I know you will. You're just fantastic, and
I just, you know, I was just looking for some backdrops, you know, and I had these very spacey paintings, and I thought, well, they're good, but also I came across this, and initially. That was part of a cardboard jukebox. That was. It was kind of like the bit where, you know, the kind of like the bit that spins round and the records are selected. But removed, I thought, well, it makes a lovely mandala, which is I think it's an Indian word possibly for sun, and just relating it to the idea of the pyramid. I thought perfect. Bring that in. So here we go. We've got we're really taking shape now for our little pyramid stage, and as I say, the next bit is a little more complicated. This kind of porch area, you have to think, what size is it going to be? And looking at it, I thought, well, let's just do it approximately. So we've got about 8 centimeters there. I'm thinking, oh, stick it out about 8 centimeters. That's going to be just about right. So it's basically sorting out a nice triangular shape here, and a kind of, I don't even know what you call that shape, but it obviously has some slightly odd angles going on. Quite difficult to work out this shape here. I've obviously done it for the big one, just by measuring down. You notice it doesn't come all the way down to the bottom. It kind of stops about there. That's how it is on the real stage. So that's how I did it. So I'm looking at a triangle which needs to be actually about 8 centimeters, probably by about 6 centimeters, and then it needs to be coming up at this angle maybe 8 again. So maybe 8 by 8 by 6. It's all a little bit trial and error at this stage, and you know, don't really worry. It's cardboard. It's nice and cheap. You can get through it. You can make mistakes. So here we go. 8 by 8, sort of roughly there, by 6. 8 by 8 by 6. There we go. 8 by 8 by 6. Whack it in. And I know that when I get to the top of here, I'm going to need a piece to fold over. And I know that's going to then stick out slightly more. So you know, if this was 6, then we're probably going to be going to about maybe 7 or 8. I also know that halfway across here, 4.5 centimeters. So let's just go for 9. Let's go for roughly 9 centimeters width. 4.5 in the middle. Let's move that out of the way. You know, it's a little bit trial and error. It's a little bit trial and error, but yeah, we're gonna give this a go. So here we go. 4.5 across here. And then what do we want here? We want the old 6 centimeters back here. And finishing off with the same shape on the other side, which is going to be 7.5 again. And the same down to about there. All right, so I've got an interesting shape here, which may be just about right in the sense of making a porch. And I'm sure there's a better word for it than a porch. And after this, we're going to be looking at how to do the lights, where I did use the toilet rolls. And I've got something quite exciting, which is how to do some speakers. Now, the speakers you're going to love, because that's just a couple of egg boxes and some toilet rolls. All right, you always get some speakers at Glastonbury, don't you? Kind of up amongst the crowd. So we've got how to do speakers. And then, yeah, you know, once you've got your stage and your lights and your speakers, you can create some characters and have a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm getting there with this. See, it's quite hard work. It's quite a slog making these things, but it does give you results that you want. Okay. Here we go. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to do some scoring. Scoring is a technique where you, with your knife, you just go halfway into the cardboard, and that allows you to bend your cardboard nicely like that. I'm also going to need to score down the middle. A nice little line, score the cardboard. Right, so let's see if that's worked out. Ah, it's not bad at all. It is not bad, is it?
Looks fantastic.
Yeah,
looks
brilliant. A little bit of measuring, and there we go. We've got our little porch.
That's really, really lovely.
Fits in nice, doesn't it? Yeah, and that's kind of the iconic shape, isn't it, of the pyramid stage? You've got your basic pyramid. You've got this little bit sticking out the front, and if you put those two things together, you've got your basics for your pyramid stage. I'm using wood glue. One of the nightmares I kind of had yesterday was with the PVA glue, and in this heat, it just wasn't drying. I tell you, it was really, really hard work trying to get PVA glue to dry yesterday. So wood glue is just a little bit more sticky. I think I might have to just maybe trim off a little bit there at the back, just to allow it to just to come over the top there. And of course, I'm going to need just a little bit of. What I do actually is I might trim off that bit. Slightly less wiggle room on a tiny model like this. Slightly less wiggle room. It's just going to be a little bit of sellotape again, just to hold it in place while the glue dries. So Nick, are you still there?
Absolutely, I'm here. Trying to keep cool. I'm trying to keep cool. It's so hot.
How do you keep cool in your studio?
Well, I've actually got a big window at the end. The only trouble is the sun is beating in on that at the moment, and if I have the window open, all the neighbours complain because I speak quite loudly. So I've actually I've got a big fan in the hall that sort of sucks air through. I actually bought an air conditioning unit about a month ago from somewhere that I knew I could take it back if I didn't want it. I've now passed that period, so I've now got to keep it. So I'm going to get that out today. My concern is that they're quite noisy. So you can hear the fans going now. Whatever, it's all part of the reason.
Well, I turned my fan off with that in mind, but it's not quite as bad today, is it?
Oh, I don't know.
Yesterday was really, really, really hot.
Well, I'm on a top floor, so there's a flat roof, so I've probably got heat from the roof as well. Yeah, the ceiling's quite warm from sun on a flat tar roof. So yeah, it's all against me. But it's, do you know, funny enough, the worst problem, people talk about rain at Glastonbury, blah blah blah, and I've been to the worst ones where people were rescued from their tents by the fire brigade in diving gear. But funny enough, I've been to sunny festivals that are almost as bad, because you can't find shade. People will literally sit under every tree, every bit of shade. People will sit against fences, and then as the sun moves, they move, and shade actually becomes a bigger premium than the bottle of water. It's, you know, we can't win, but you know, whatever.
Interesting.
And the funny thing, as I say, everybody scoffs about the rain at Glastonbury, and if you stay there, people almost gloat that you're there getting hammered. But it's very interesting. After a really, really bad Glastonbury, when it's really muddy and you're walking around in 12 inches of mud and it's really hard work, you know that anybody there is hardcore and there for the right reason. You know, they're not there on comp tickets from a big corporate hospitality thing. The real festival goers are still there, and I suppose I'm a bit arrogant to include myself as a hardcore festival goer, but it's not about the weather.
Well, I've only been to Glastonbury once, and it was 2001, I think, and David Bowie was there, so that was kind of lucky.
That was 2000, actually.
Was it 2000? Yes, you're right. Yeah.
I'll tell you why I know that, because I was chatting to Earl Slick, who was his guitarist, just the other day, like you do, and I said, he's from Brooklyn, New York, and I asked him how, if he'd been to London Match, and he said, yeah, I came the first time in 1975 to play with David Bowie, and then we did Glastonbury in 2000. So there you go. That's how I know that from the man. And in fact, we were just doing.
No, that's good knowledge. So I think if I was going to make a character for my stage, I would make a little David Bowie.
Would you?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. But before I get on to that, I'm going to show you how I made my lighting rig.
Oh, okay,
cool. So this is what this is. So using the toilet rolls, had an offcut of cardboard, which happened to be roughly the right shape to just slot in like this, and very simply drew around the shape of the toilet roll and just slotted them in, because I think that's one of the main things you see in Glastonbury, isn't it? When you're at the stage, the power of those lights on that pyramid stage, when they kind of blast you.
Oh, I know, it's fantastic. And the shows have changed. I first went in 1982 when I just started university, and I had an old Austin Allegro which I bought for 350 quid, and I drove in. I rented a house with a garage in Loughborough, And I got the car in the garage, and I couldn't get it out. It didn't have reverse gear. The man from the garage had to come and show me how to get reverse gear, so I could reverse out and then drive to Glastonbury. So, and we slept in the car, and we arrived in about 4 in the morning, I think. It was a very different place then.
This little bit will just go in the top. I'm just going to do that now. I've already cut the shape out. I'm just going to cut out the circles again using my Stanley knife, and then I can pop in just the last little set of lights. Well, I suppose I tell a lie really, because I did go to Glastonbury once as a child. I do remember driving into the very muddy field, kind of getting stuck, and then Mum and Dad actually just driving out again.
Your mum and dad took you? That's pretty cool.
It was a small thing then. It may well have been 1982. I don't know what year it was, and we were kind of coming back from maybe a holiday somewhere else, and we thought we'd try and go, but I think the weather was too bad for 3 small children that year.
So you could just go on spec in those days, could you? Literally just say, well, should we go to Glastonbury, jump in the car and go?
I guess it was like that, wasn't it? I guess you could just turn up and, kind of park your car, and I was probably about 6 or 7, so
I think
I felt kind of cool that I had been, at least, that when people talked about it.
I went the year of Coldplay's first big gig. I think that was 2004, and we actually got we actually had a double-decker tour bus with 18 bunk beds. We managed to get it backstage, even though we didn't have a pass for the bus. We managed to get the bus backstage, and we all had backstage passes, and the driver got us backstage. But I remember going to, I had as I say, 18 backstage.
Are you friends with them then, Nick?
No, not really. No, not at all. No. I had a friend in the music business. That's how it works. And I remember I had one ticket for somebody who arrived, two people who arrived late. One guy was in a wheelchair, and so we had permission to go and get him. And my goodness, we went through that gate, and it was a really heavy year. It's one of the first big years with the big wall. And the security told us, you go through that gate, it's your own responsibility. We cannot come and get you. And literally I went out, it was like going through the Brandenburg Gate. You go through these big gates with searchlights in towers and lots of security guys buzzing up and down in 4-wheel drives. And I'm literally out there on my own. And I had to point to the guy who was with us. And then a bunch of security guards went to get him and pushed him over in his wheelchair and let him in. It was incredible. And I'd just seen Coldplay, so I was a little bit off with the fairies, to say the least. Not that I was a massive Coldplay fan prior to that moment, but and we had Faithless and then Coldplay. And that I think is one of Chris Martin's favourite ever gigs, because that was his first proper Glastonbury without all the tech. His first Glastonbury, but his first one on the pyramid stage.
They've definitely done some rousing songs, haven't they?
Well, a lot of my friends just say it's very depressing, Coldplay, but I don't mind a bit of Coldplay.
Well, that's it. Yeah, they had a depressing kind of few years perhaps, and then they came back with some real kind of uplifting stuff, didn't they? Well,
no, there's only a couple of albums I ever listened to. I mean, the BBC are running repeats all weekend, Glastonbury Moments, but it's all the rock stuff, So there's, for example, there's no Orbital or Prodigy. Now Orbital, I mean, the Prodigy is not quite my cup of tea. It's a bit hardcore for me. But Orbital, Phil Hartnell, I used to hang out with Phil Hartnell years ago.
Oh yeah, wonderful band, Orbital.
Oh my goodness, them doing Doctor Who. They used to do Chime into Doctor Who. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go to YouTube, Chime, Orbital, Glastonbury, Doctor Who theme, and they did that mix, and it is off the scale, unbelievable. And then I saw them in Brixton Academy on their last ever gig, and then they came back. But I was on the guest list for that, and I remember they do a sample with a Carpenters song. Have you seen them? Have you seen Orbital play live lately?
I have not seen Orbital play live. I think I saw the Orb back in university, but not Orbital ever, and I would love to.
So Orbital do one lovely song with a Carpenters sample, which is Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft. Remember that song? We are your friends. And they sample that, and then they just drop the bass, and it just goes off. Oh, it's wonderful! Really, really wonderful. I was trying to get Phil on this weekend actually, but he's not feeling too good, so he's still in lockdown. So if you're watching Phil,
I must say last year's Glastonbury, the John Hopkins set looked very good, didn't it? Did you see that?
No, I didn't actually.
Were you there last year?
No, I wasn't. I haven't been for a few years actually.
Yeah, just a telly for me.
My life's been a roller coaster. I sort of wake up in the morning and think, what shall I do today? And anybody who knows me knows that's how I plan. I just haven't got time.
Here we go. My last little set of lights. Just basically little holders for the rolls. And I mean, if you were slightly technically minded, I'm sure you could kind of. I do have a little hole here. I'm sure I could somehow like open up that and let some light in and you know, actually project light out through these. I'm sure I could do something like that. But there we go. Hopefully that will just sit in there, and we're going to achieve that kind of all powerful. You know, it does look a bit like a space rocket taking off, doesn't it? The Glastonbury stage, the pyramid stage, with all these lights shining at you, and the smoke they no doubt belch out. It's just a little balancing act here. I might turn it round.
What I find interesting is how I'm quite into how the light technology's changed over the years. Because they used to have one light for every colour and every position. So if you wanted a red light over there and then it needed to be blue, that'd be two lights, and they were both really high power, energy sucking lights. And now they're both multi-function, so each light can have lots of colours, but it can point anywhere. So now if you look at a lighting rig in the ceiling, it's got like 10 lights, and they can all do anything anywhere. It's incredible. And then now they've got the big thing now, obviously, is video screens. So they have the whole backstage as a video screen and video panels here and there. But one of the loveliest sets, going back to Orbital, they had a thing where they had video projection panels on big vertical boards, a bit like you've got there. In fact, it's very, very similar. You should check it out. And then just halfway through the set, they started revolving in 3D. So if you were to turn, what's that on the left there? Is that your speaker stack? Is it?
Yes.
So if you were to turn that around slowly, you get a really interesting effect with those shadows, and that's what Orbital did. Look how it changes. There's a name.
They always have something like that, don't they? Either on the stage or to the right and left of the stage.
And I think
so I'll just show you how I made the speaker stack.
How long do you think you need, Will? Because we've got the theatre company ready when you are. Should I tell them how long do you think?
What's that, Nick?
How much longer do you need? I'm not rushing you, but we've got the theatre company on standby.
Well, I mean, we can wrap up any time you like. I mean, these speaker stacks are quite simple, so I'll probably just sort of 5 minutes on this, and then if there's anything else you want to discuss, go for it.
I'll tell you what then. We'll tell them 10 minutes then.
And a nice long toilet roll. Basically, just line up the back and make a couple of marks where you need to put some holes in. I mean, you could just stick it on with sellotape if you wanted, but I kind of wanted to be a little bit sort of long term about it. Make something that's going to hold together. Obviously, if you just use sellotape, things will fall apart. So it's just thought it was a nice kind of simple bit of like cardboard engineering at its simplest level. Just to take your egg box and kind of stuff it into some holes in your cardboard tube. It's a little bit crude, but a little bit bigger. You see, there we go. And it won't stand up on its own, which is why I gave it the egg box base as well. And again, you do kind of see that at festivals, don't you? You see these little sort of speaker systems which they have amongst the crowd, and they have their own little bases. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought you might have some background music playing, Nick.
Well, it's funny you say that. I have to be very careful, because if you have music running, then you get struck by the copyright police and they take you down.
Ah, yes, of
But that's a good point. We should maybe get something abstract that that won't get done. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. What happened is, I only found out last night, but all our YouTube feeds, I've been sending links to them to people, knowing that there can be problems on mobile, but they're actually, none of them can be played on a laptop now either. But because when I log in, I can see them because it's my account, you see. So that's why we just got to be careful with the copyright and obviously respect that. But
yes,
it's a tricky one.
Yeah. No, I do understand. Thought I had another egg box. Anyway, you've got the idea, haven't you? With your kind of, oh, there we go, tumbling down. Got the idea with your speaker stack on one side and your lighting rig inside. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's been quite an interesting little journey, really, making these things, and the time spent with the toilet rolls was not wasted. I did find it to be quite a nice sort of little learning experiment in terms of what you can do with them. There we go. So that's back up and running. Got your speaker on one side. Got your speaker on the other side, which I'm going to wedge in with another toilet roll. There we go. And just sort that out for one more time. Obviously, if you glue this in if you're not in the middle of this, but I won't bother right now. There we go. So how does that look, Nick?
Wow, that is just wonderful, Will.
We're a bit wonky, aren't we? Let's straighten that up.
Can you move the little one in front of the big one, do you think? Just a bit.
Yes.
A little bit further across into the middle, so it's actually right in front of it. And then yes. I can squeeze in as well then. That's fantastic, look at that.
And then we bring the kind of rotating object of art. You see, certainly the cardboard tube one does have an artistic presence, in the struggle that it involved.
Bring that one into the bring that into the foreground, Will, quickly.
This big one?
Yeah, just hold it in front of the camera so we can see that one again as a bit of a reminder.
Yes.
Looks like the base of the Eiffel Tower. And have you joined them together?
A sellotape, but what was tricky was just finding the right angle to cut the toilet rolls so that then the shape would work, essentially. You know what I mean?
I do. It's very interesting maths, that is, isn't it? How that curve goes, because you don't cut a straight line, do you?
It by eye, really, but yeah, if you were going to go into the maths of that, you are gonna test yourself, I'm sure.
Well, no,
and the base as well. I mean, it's the same angle on the bases, each one, so it sits on the floor. And then at the top, I mean, the very top, trying to find the angles so that they would all come together into a point. I suppose the other way would be to not make them to a point at the top, and then but then you'd still have to make your little equilateral triangle to fit on the top. So, yeah.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you, Will.
I guess that is my little attempt at the Glastonbury Pyramid stage.
Well, funny enough, I've got the picture of the ice cream van back up, but I've actually got a picture of a gondola that you made in Venice as well, and that floats.
Fantastic.
And that floats, doesn't it, by the look of it?
That is a floating gondola, Nick. Made
out of cardboard with a bit of lacquer, and I couldn't find the tube train online actually, because you were in it last time, weren't you? The tube train.
Yeah, funnily enough, the tube train is still here in the studio, the interior of it, but I didn't think I thought it was actually a little bit of a distraction from the pyramid, you know what I mean? You sort of, if you've got too much cardboard in the room, you don't see the cardboard you're meant to focus on.
Brilliant.
So there's the gondola. Awesome.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Will. I think you've really inspired everybody today to hopefully get very creative and make a pyramid stage themselves. As a project itself, as a little place that they could store things in bedrooms or in living rooms, a place that they could act out little plays, a place they could put art in. Because the pyramid stage for us this weekend is an art gallery. It's the most inspiring, one of the most inspiring icons of creativity in the UK. It's a place where bands play, but this weekend we're bringing everything from the Festival of Glastonbury, all the wonder of Glastonbury, the off main stage wonder. We're going to try and bring that in and put it inside a pyramid stage. We haven't quite finished our main one. We'll have that going for tonight, but Will's done a super job there of inspiring us all. And I've got my my monster cardboard tubes here. And as I said, I've got 15 of these, and go on, like blimey, you could have some fun with this, couldn't you? So we're going to hopefully try and make a bit of a den sometime. I haven't got any room in the studio here to do that, but that's going to be lots of fun. Will, thank you so much. We've got to crack on now because we've got Banks Theatre who are going to do a workshop on theatre, and they're doing 3 sessions every day to talk about theatre, and they've got some little props and some little characters and some things that people can put in there. Just out of interest, that big theatre, you've got the big one at the back, that's all solid, isn't it?
This one?
Yeah.
Solid in the sense that it's all glued together, yes.
So how do you feel about getting a knife and kind of cutting it in half so that people could use it as a theatre and they can put the little characters in the back? Would you mind doing that, or is that a bit too destructive for you? Is that a horrible prospect?
No, that's. I mean, you could definitely put a little space in there, couldn't you?
Or even cut a hole in the side so that people can get their hands in.
Yeah, absolutely. So you could put a little character in there. I need to find a little character there, don't I? Let me pop. I'll just go find a little character, and then I'll come back.
Okay, everybody. Well, just to say, in 2 minutes now, we've got Banks Theatre. Be sure to download the programme here, which has got a timing plan for today, and we'll update tomorrow and Sunday later on. So we've just got today's plan in there at the moment. What's happening today? Well, next is Banks Theatre up till lunch. We're then hopefully having a chat with Mark Anderson. We've got local drum master Marlon Edwards, who's from Brookside Academy, so hopefully the whole school's going to be tuned in to watch him at 2:30. We've got a rapping scientist, we've got book stuff, we've got Nick Hawkes from the music business. He signed The Prodigy, so he's pretty cool. Ed Finch, who's coming in from Brewed, and he's doing a talk about education. Then this evening we've got fire pit chats. We've got Lenny, who's little Lenny, who's going to play piano. We've spelt Lenny wrong in the programme, that's not good. We've got an amazing man. We've got this guy, this is Charlie Phillips. Charlie Phillips is from the Windrush generation. He came to England many years ago, 40-50 years ago, and he is an artist, a photographer. He went to the first ever Glastonbury's, and what we want you to do is to join our I Love Art campaign. Download this from the website, hashtag I Love Art, draw a heart on there, send a selfie in, tweet it, Instagram it as somebody comes to my door, and we'll print some t-shirts. So we're going to pick some of those off and print free ones. If you go to our shop, you can order a t-shirt and we'll print you one. Probably going to miss it for the weekend now. We'll get them out for next week, so you can have a t-shirt there. And that's the hashtag I Love Art campaign. You could even design them and print them on stickers. So we've got sheets of stickers, but you could just design your own and print them off, because we're working with a company called Solopress, and they do cheap printing overnight. They're an English firm. As long as you get the artwork in. So you can do these posters, print them, send them to them for midday, and they get them to you the next day for about £20. Or if you're at school and they'll let you use the black and white printer, we've got a special program that lets you print and chop things up into lots of pictures. So we're going to do that this weekend. We'll do an art activism workshop there. Tonight we're unveiling our Black Lives Matter picture, which is going to be brilliant, that Rob Smith has loaned us. We've got a jazz symphony for the Windrush generation, which is beautiful. We've got some rappers, we've got some grime, we've got the sounds of South Wales. That's going to be amazing. So we've got one day, and that's just one day. That's Lenny's day, that's Kids' Day. And then tomorrow is Mum's Day, that's Jem's Day. And then Sunday is going to be Tony's Day, Grandad Tony. We'll tell you about Grandad Tony later on. So, there we got a character, and he's cut a hole in the side. So what have you done there, Will? You've cut a hole in the side, have you? Will, can you...
Page to,
Sorry, you have to... Can you start again? I just had your microphone down. Sorry, start again.
Yeah, and it's as you thought would be a good idea, just to cut a flap in the side, and you can bring your characters in then, and I mean have a little performance by the camel.
Turn it round, will you? Turn it round so we can see that.
You need to see the flap in the side?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've literally, oh I see, you've cut a hole there, that's handy. And
yeah, super easy really.
And have you left it so you can fold it back down, or do you cut it all out completely?
I've done that. I've just,
oh,
I've
got
just
a flap.
left that as a foldable. Just left that as a foldable kind of thing there, so that you know we can put it back if we want to.
Brilliant.
But I think that's absolutely the way to go for you know, using the stage. I mean, this is the great thing about the lights, not sticking them in. We can actually open up the whole stage. We can have, you know, any kind of characters coming in. Got a little deer here coming in.
That's wonderful. Well, that's
yeah,
that's a
that's
perfect.
what it's all about, isn't it?
That's a perfect.
Using your little stage. It's not just it's not a sculpture particularly. It's more of a location for. Well, maybe you've got some little characters of your favourite pop stars. I don't know.
That's that really is great. Thank you so much, Will. I think it's a perfect time for us to leave for a moment and go and find our theatre people. Thank you so much. Absolutely brilliant session there. Thank you, Will Alexander. You're available if people want sculptures, if they want lectures, workshops, talks. If people want you to do school visits, I presume that you've got a price and availability for that. What's the best URL to get you on, Will? What's your email and contact
Nick,
details?
You know I'm not very technical, am I? URL, oh my goodness.
So how do people find you?
That's not my email address, is it? My email address. I know. I reply to emails promptly, don't you, Nick? So, yeah. I don't have a website at the moment, Nick, as you know. So, I don't know if I have a URL. Do I?
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get you set up on a Facebook page or something, because you can do those for free.
I've got a Facebook page.
Well, there you go. What's that called then? That's a website.
My Facebook name is at Ice Cream Van Man.
There you go. Ice Cream Van Man. At Ice Cream Van Man.
Okay.
Will, it's been lovely to speak to you. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch soon. Thanks a lot now. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.
Wow. Well, Will Alexander, what a fantastic person. He's built some stages. All it needs now is you, and that's what this is all about, putting you on stage, because this is your Glastonbury. It's an event for you to be part of, to connect with your creativity. And I passionately believe that the future for our children, our communities and our country lies in one thing: creativity. It can inspire our kids in their learning, it can create careers and connect communities. 10 years ago, after a trip to a festival, Camp Festival, I went back to my son's primary school and started a non-profit community enterprise called STEAMco with other parents, teachers and local businesses. We ran mini creativity festivals. STEAMco helps connect our kids with their art and our communities with their schools. Last weekend in that same playground, I filmed an amazing set by the legendary Glenn Matlock, co-founder of the Sex Pistols, and amazing global rock star Earl Slick, who used to play with David Bowie. It will be their performance at an event we've just been given permission to run in the playing fields of a school just down the road from Glastonbury. We're calling it #YourGlasto. It's one of 5 free 3-day Art of Community festivals that we're running all summer with the help of the Arts Council and funding from the National Lottery. Our first one was live streamed from Eden Project at the end of May and featured inspiring talks, uplifting performances, creative activities and community engagement. We had a fantastic performance by the blind and disabled young woman Kerper from Leeds. We had a great Saturday night set from Emily Capel, and Gaz Mayle even Skyped in from his hideaway in Wales. We had a right old laugh watching Rosemary Schrager teach Levois to cook, and we all split our sides with Basil Brush.
Technology is an amazing thing.
Punk icon Jar Wobble chatted with a grandad in Liverpool. On Sunday we had a little big lunch, and after that rockstar activator Tom Morley led a co-drum circle with hundreds of people all over the world. And we had a couple of great late night dance parties where people could Skype in with a green screen background and end up on the dance floor. As the CEO of the Arts Council has said,
let's ask, what if? Let's start a creativity revolution.
Let's create our Glasto, my Glasto, your Glasto. So let's move swiftly on, shall we, everybody? Let's move swiftly on back to your Glasgow. We are here live and direct. We're streaming from a pretend pyramid. We're pretending we're in Somerset, but wherever we are, it doesn't matter. It's where you are that matters, because we want you on our stage. If you want to know what's going on this weekend, download the programme, which is available on the Steamco website. Go and find your Glasgow. You can download there. It's got a timetable for today, because we're still making tomorrow up, because we're making this up as we go along, and that's the way we roll. And I'm just about to go live and direct to Sharon and Kate, which is very, very exciting, because they're from an organisation called Bounce Theatre, and we've built a theatre. We've just built a stage. We've built our own pyramid stage, and we're thinking of that pyramid stage almost as an art gallery, a theatre, a place that we can perform, we can put stuff, we can share, we can celebrate, we can inspire. And I've got a bit of a problem with my little mixer here, because all the buttons seem to have reset. It's quite a new one, and they seem to have bugs in the software, so you're just going to have to bear with me while I kind of patch people in. So let me put that one on there. And oh yeah, that's looking like it might work actually. This is quite remarkable, but all the buttons are the wrong colour, you see, which is a bit confusing. That's the bug. The bug is that the buttons are different colours, but not to worry. So let's press that button there. One, there's Kate, and there's Sharon. Hello, can you hear me, ladies? Hello.
Yes, hello.
And you're a bit quieter down there. You're Katie at the bottom. I've got two of you actually. Is Sharon and Katie both on this, or are you both on the same Skype call? That's unusual. Or you, Sharon?
We can't see each other.
Yeah, you won't be able to see. You'll see each other. Have you got the second YouTube screen going?
Yes, but we need to be able to speak to each other in real time so we can work together.
You can speak together, but you'll struggle to see each other, because that's just the way it works with the video. You'll see each other on the YouTube screen 8 seconds later. There's a slight delay on video, but you should be able to hear each other. Can you both speak? Sharon, say hello.
Hello.
Kate, say hello.
Hello.
Did you hear each other say hello then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Phew. So, Sharon, can you just give me a sound check?
Yeah.
You have to speak when you do sound checks. Just say testing. But go on, keep it going.
Testing.
Keep it going.
Just talking at you, just testing the sound.
That's perfect. Kate, can you do the same, please?
Yes, hello, good morning. Lovely to be here.
You are a professional sound checker, that's great, and I'm obviously super loud, so I'm going to turn that down. So what have you got in store for us today? You don't know who's going to speak?
Today we are going to be talking to you guys about Story Club, which is a project that Bounce Theatre runs. We're going to take you through how to make a story, and then we are going to read a story as well.
Brilliant. Right, well I'll leave you to it. You can sort of control each other, and all I'd say is that we're all making this up as we go along. 2 or 3 weeks ago we had no choice. This is all we had, and here we are now coming out of lockdown. The technology is not brilliant, but it's hopefully a bit better than one of those horrible rubbishy old Zoom call things, because we can make you big and small, and I'm going to reprogram. So I've got to completely reprogram my vision mixer for you both now as the show goes, and it'll be quite compelling, and you'll think that was worth it. What I am going to do first is I'm going to turn this camera off, so you're not going to see me, but I can still see you, because we don't want to see me in the corner, because it might give my secrets away, you see. So
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'll give you Bounce Theatre. Rock!
Thank you very much. Thank you so much to everyone for having us. We are super excited to be here today. So my name is Katie. I am an actor and I'm a director, and I work with Bounce Theatre doing something really special. And my job is just to read stories out. Sharon, my excellent colleague that you can see, has the difficult job of making stories. So we are going to talk you through how to make your own fantastic story today. We are going to have a look at what props or costume you might want to use, and we're also going to hear a story that Sharon wrote herself. Sharon, could you tell us a little bit about why you think Story Club is important?
Yeah, thank you, Katie. I think stories are really important because they are the way that we express our ideas about the world. They're the way that we express how we feel. and also our imagination and what we think the world could be like. So they're really, really important, and they're also really great fun to make.
Absolutely. I really like that when we're using our imagination in stories, we can go anywhere in the world we want, and we don't even have to stay in this world. We could explore the universe or make up our own worlds as well.
Exactly.
So Sharon, if you were to create a story, what is the kind of things that you would look at doing at first?
Okay, so the first thing that you need to make a story is a pen and piece of paper. But really the most important thing, and you don't even need a pen and piece and paper, you can also use a phone to record your story, or even draw what you're thinking. The most important thing that you need is your imagination. There's no right or wrong when it comes to writing a story. So just have some ideas and go for it and see where it takes you.
Nice, excellent. So I think I've got my imagination turned on, kind of. I had my breakfast this morning, so my brain's working. I have got lots of props around me. I've got a paper and a pen. I have a phone. And I've got all of you guys as well. So hopefully together we might be able to forge some kind of a story out of nothing.
Definitely. So we've actually got an activity that we've made that Katie, you're going to do for us. But I'm going to talk everyone through how we do it. And today's activity is that we are going to make a story about a kindness superhero, because we think that it's really important for everyone to be kind. Particularly in these very strange times that we've been living through recently. So step one to make your kindness superhero story is to write down some of the qualities that you need to be kind. And just to give you some ideas, here are some that we've been thinking about. So number one is being generous. So someone who shares, someone who gives to other people, someone who is a good listener, someone who is considerate and thinks about other people's points of view, and someone who is friendly and welcoming to others. So just have a think and write down what qualities you think your kindness superhero might have. Katie, have you thought of one?
I have thought of one. The first one I thought of is that the kindness superhero would want to make other people happy.
That's brilliant. Well done, Katie. That's a lovely one. So, step two, the second thing that we're going to ask you to do is to write down some actions that we can take to be kind to other people in our everyday lives. So I've thought of some. Try and think of your own as well. So number one is that you could give someone a compliment. So you can tell them that, maybe find a nice quality about that person. Tell them that they look nice. Tell them that they've done something well. The second thing is to lend or share something that you own with someone else. Maybe it's some food, maybe you cook something for someone. Maybe it's a piece of your clothing or a toy or something like that. And number three is listening. So listening to other people's ideas, but also their thoughts and their feelings. Sometimes it's really great just to ask someone how they are so that they have the chance to tell you how their day's been. Katie, can you think of one?
I thought that maybe you could offer to do something for somebody. So at the minute, there's obviously lots of people who might find it difficult to get to the shops, or maybe even going to the shops might make them feel a bit scared or anxious. So I was thinking it might be quite nice to offer your neighbours to go to the shop for them and pick up that pint of milk they need, or maybe a nice tasty chocolate bar.
That is a lovely idea, absolutely. And actually that's something I've done for my neighbours over this time. So thinking about what you can do for someone else. I know for me, the best thing that someone can usually do for me is to make me a cup of tea. So what can you do to be kind to someone in your daily life?
That's really nice.
Step number 3.
Sorry, Sharon, go on.
No worries, Katie. So step number 3. What could your superhero's power be? What is their secret power that nobody knows about? I have thought of a few that I'm going to give you just to help you with some ideas. So I thought of one called Captain Compliment, a superhero who is always able to recognise when someone needs to be given a compliment and to be cheered up. Also, Ultra, the empathizer. So empathy is being able to understand someone else's point of view and where they might be coming from. So that superhero, Ultra, is able to listen and understand other people, which is a really great quality. Jester. Jester is a superhero who is always able to tell a joke and give a bit of humour when other people need it. And then I've also, just kind of riffing off what I told you earlier, made up the name of a superhero called PG Tips. So that's a superhero who always consents when someone might need a cup of tea and make it for other people so that it cheers them up. So that's some names. Katie, have you thought of one?
Do you know what? I was actually going for your tea hero. I wondered if you could have a superhero who has like an endless pot of tea always with them to just pour out the tea whenever you want one. But maybe, so my favourite meal of the day is breakfast. I really like my breakfast. So I think maybe if I were a superhero, I'd be able to cheer anybody up by cooking them the most fantastic breakfast. So I would be, I don't know what my name might be though, Sharon. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky one. Maybe something to do with Weetabix. Well, it depends on what your favourite cereal is.
Yeah, super wheats.
We'll leave that one as a work in progress.
Thanks, Sharon.
So we are nearly ready to get writing, but the thing that you need to do as a writer, just before you get going, what can really help you is to have a really good plan in place of what you're going to write. So a few more questions to help you to figure out who your kind of superhero is. So, what is the name of your superhero? Do they have a bit of a powerful name? Does their name contain the idea of what their superhero power is? For example, like Captain Compliment. How old is your superhero? For example, are they a grandma who has a secret power? Are they a child who can do really incredible things? Where does your superhero live? Do they live on Earth, or actually do they live somewhere else in our solar system? Do they live in England, or even London, where I'm based, or Yorkshire, where Katie is based, or even in Glastonbury? Or do they live in another country in the world? Do they live in a really exciting location, in a desert, in a rainforest, at the bottom of a waterfall? You can be as creative as you like. There's no right or wrong. Do other people know about your superhero's superpower? Is it that their entire town understands what that superpower is? Or is it something that is secret in their everyday life, and they've got a uniform that they wear when they're a superhero, and the rest of the time they just look like they do normally? How long have they had the superpower for? In your story, does your superhero discover the superpower, or is it something that they've had for years and they've had since they were a baby? Does your superhero have a special outfit? And does their superpower make them look different? For example, in the story that we're going to tell you about Audio Rocket, someone who's a very, very good listener, Audio Rocket's ears are a little bit bigger than other people's because he's so good at listening. And Katie, were you going to add something to that?
No, I don't think so, but I was playing around. I was looking for some props earlier. I think I found some really good props for Audio's ears, which I'm quite excited to try out.
Brilliant, that's great. And does your superhero have another job that they do? So, for example, if we look at famous superheroes, we know that the character of Superman in real life is called Clark Kent, and that he works as a reporter for a newspaper. So he's got a job that he does in real life, and then he's a superhero the rest of the time. So is your superhero doing something else as well as being a superhero? What kind of training does your superhero need to do? Do they have to do something that helps them to develop their power more? Or is it just really natural and easy for them? And what problem does your superhero have to solve in the story that you're telling? And how do they solve that? So, to help you to develop your story, we would also suggest that you draw a picture of your kindness superhero. And you could even make a costume from things that you can find around your house for that superhero. And then we want you to plan your story. So think about a beginning that sets up the scene of your story, all the characters that we're going to meet in that story. A middle where your character has to try and solve the problem that is happening in your story. And then an end where the problem has been solved and we know what the future is going to look like for the characters in your story. So really just have a think about the things that are going to happen to your superhero and the characters. Those are our top tips on how to make a superhero story. And now Katie is going to read the story that we've written, which is called Audio Rocket Saves the Day.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Sharon, I love those top tips about how to make a superhero story. And just before we begin reading, I was thinking of a few things about my superhero. I decided to change it from the superhero who makes everybody breakfast, because I didn't know if that was a very good one or not. But I came up with a superhero who is called, I'm kind of stealing one of Sharon's names here, don't tell Sharon that I'm doing that. I'm going to call my superhero Captain Cleanup. And Captain Cleanup is a 15-year-old girl. She lives in, I'm going to say Yorkshire, because that's where I live, and I think it's quite pretty. She's been a superhero ever since she was born, which is actually quite similar to the superhero you're about to hear about in our story. And for her training, she's got to pick lots of things up. So she needs to be strong. So she does quite a lot of weight training. And she's got to have a good memory, which isn't like me. So I don't know how to help her there. But my Captain Cleanup goes around, and if anybody's left litter on the floor or in a really beautiful area, she picks it all up and puts it in the bin.
Katie,
Sharon, do you think it would work?
Yes, she sounds amazing, and actually I'd quite like her to come to my house and help me out every day.
Oh, would you? I'm not sure you need a superhero there. I think you might want a cleaner.
Or that maybe I need to do that myself.
Maybe you could ask your family to do it instead. Fingers crossed. Okay, so now that we have heard from Sharon how you can make your own story, we are going to read a story that Sharon created to you guys. So when I get into storytelling, there are a few things which I do before I start telling the story. The first one I do is to think about the character. I think about what the character wants, what gets them excited, what maybe annoys them or winds them up, and how they like to help people. Then I do a really silly sounding warm up with my voice, and I make lots of silly sounds. So I will first take some really deep breaths in and let them out again. And then I do something that's a little bit like chewing and humming. Sharon, do you want to try chewing and humming as well?
I will. Thank you, Katie. Let me give it a shot.
So all we have to do is pretend to be chewing a really big toffee and hum at the same time. Shall we see how it goes, Sharon?
I'm already trying.
Oh, brilliant. I can't hear you.
I'm going to try the hum as well now, Katie.
Oh, good. Try the hum. Good. And then once you're done with the chewing, you can just spit the toffee out if you don't want to swallow it. Pooh! Or you can swallow it if it's a tasty toffee. What did you go for?
I spat the toffee out, but also had another one. Yeah.
Is this going to contribute to that messy house?
I think so, Katie, yeah.
So once I have warmed up, I might think about the kinds of props which I need, but I am going to keep my props a secret at the minute so that you guys can look at them. I only have 2, to be fair, so that you can see them when I'm reading the story. I also make sure I have a glass of water in case I get a dry mouth or I get something in my throat, because I don't want to interrupt the story with me coughing or anything like that. So I think we're about ready to begin. Is everybody sat comfortably?
I am.
Excellent. And I'm going to take it as a resounding yes that all of the audience are as well. So, if you want to get a cup of cocoa or some snacks for this, feel free, everybody. And here we go with Sharon's story, Audio Rocket. Oh, Audio, where do I start? Audio Rocket was trying to eat his Weetabix when he detected that his mum was acting a bit strangely. She kept sighing and wasn't her usual chatty self. "Mum, are you all right?" he asked her. "Well, do you mind if I talk something through with you?" "Of course not," Audio replied. "Go ahead, Mum. I'm listening." Audio Rocket was London's youngest and kindest superhero. He also had the city's biggest ears. Each ear was the size of a small saucer. They had begun to grow bigger and bigger as soon as Audio was able to talk, because as soon as he could talk, he had also learned to listen extra carefully. Even as a toddler, his family members, friends, and anyone he'd met had wanted to tell Audio about their dreams, ideas, and worries. Audio was always ready to lend his listening ears. He could tell when someone needed to get something off their chest before they'd even open their mouth. Audio put his spoon down, rubbed his ears so he'd be able to listen even better, and smiled at his mum. "Audio, I'm feeling a bit lonely. Ever since the Atwells moved away, I've had fewer friends to speak to," Mum explained. "Oh no, Mum, that's tough. The Atwells were really good neighbours." "I don't know who will want to play cards with me now," Mum sighed. "Don't worry, Mum. I'll make sure you'll find some new friends soon. I can learn to play cards with you too if you like. And how about I cook us a nice dinner tonight?" "Oh, Audio, you're so kind. Thank you." Mum gave Audio a hug. "You better go and do your exercises now." Audio skipped up to his room to do his ear flossing and stretches. Then he practiced his kindness skills. With 10 minutes of compassionate nodding practice and thinking about other people's points of view, he was well and truly ready for a good day of listening. Suddenly, his phone beeped. Audio had been sent a video message from his best friend, Nassie. Audio's ears pricked up, ready to listen as he pressed play. "All right, Audio, just wanted to say hi and..." Nassie sneezed loudly. Audio, something funny happened. Yesterday, I found a cat in my back garden. On the screen, Audio could see a black and white cat sitting on Nassie's knees. It's a lovely cat. I'm not sure who it belongs to. The only problem is... Nassie sneezed again. Oh, I'm allergic to cats. Oh, let me know if you can help. Bye. The video finished and Audio sent a quick message to Nassie. Hi Nassie, cool cat. Oh no, the sneezing sucks. I'll search for the owner. Audio headed out of the house. He had a busy day planned of kindness coaching, compliment giving, volunteering and cheering up sessions. Audio! I'm glad I bumped into you, called his neighbour, Mrs. Brown, at the bottom of the road. Mrs. Brown, what happened to your arm? Audio asked, noticing the sling she was wearing. Oh, Audio, I broke my arm in a line dancing accident. Audio's ears twitched, ready to listen. I'm sorry to hear that, Mrs. Brown. How are you feeling? Well, Audio, do you mind if I talk to you about it? Of course not, Mrs. Brown. Go ahead. It turned out that Mrs. Brown was quite fed up. She couldn't return to her line dancing classes and cooking was a real struggle with her broken arm. Mrs. Brown, I have an idea. Why don't you come around for dinner tonight? I'm cooking for my mum. Mrs. Brown's face lit up. Audio, that would be wonderful. You're so kind. Thank you. You've made my day. Audio went to the shops. 4 tins of baked beans. Wow, Audio. What's the big occasion? Mr. Adigan asked as he scans Audio shopping at the local supermarket. I'm cooking dinner to cheer up my mum and Mrs. Brown. Good for you, Audio. That's very kind. Audio noticed that Mr. Adigan actually looked a little tired. He flexed his ears, ready to listen. Are you okay, Mr. Adigan? He asked. Well, funny you should ask, Audio. I had a bit of a tough time. My cat, Twinkles, has been missing since Sunday. She usually sleeps on my feet during the night. I'm not sleeping well without her. Mr. Adigan's eyes drooped. I'm so sorry to hear that, Mr. Adigan. What does she look like? She's black and white and about this high. Audio thought for a moment and suddenly remembered Nassie's cat. Mr. Adigan, I think I know where your cat is. What are you doing for dinner tonight? And do you have any allergy tablets? Here we are, everyone, the finest baked beans on a bed of lightly toasted bread. Thank you, Audio. Mum, Mrs. Brown, Mr. Adigan and Nassie all began to eat their beans on toast. Whilst Twinkles drank some milk from a bowl in the corner of the kitchen. Mr. Adigan had been delighted to be reunited with Twinkles, and Nassie felt so much better after taking a few allergy tablets. Meanwhile, Mum and Mrs. Brown had decided to do a skills swap and teach each other cards and line dancing. Audio smiled in relief, flexed his ears and ate his beans. Being a kindness superhero was pretty awesome. The end.
Ray, that was brilliant. I like that.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Sorry, I didn't mean to butt in. I'll go back again. Sorry.
That is absolutely fine. So that kind of brings us to the end of our workshop. So we wanted to say thank you very much to everybody for listening, and we really loved being here. And also, we have the Story Club every week for our participants, people who want to be involved with Bounce Theatre. It's completely free. you get Sharon's excellent workshop packs, which will guide you through how to make stories. And then once you have written your story and sent it in, I will read it out on a Friday. And in fact, I'm reading some out this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So if you're not busy watching this, do tune in on Facebook to have a watch.
Yeah, and get writing, everyone. We'd love to hear what your ideas are.
I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to let you go yet because I've just had something. I've just been told that they've just about finished the pyramid stage, building it with cardboard, and you two are going to be the first people on it. Now, we're going to need about 5 more minutes because we're just establishing the. So they're just on the radio to me now. Hang on. You want how long? Okay, be about 5 minutes. Can you guys just talk about theatre and why you think it's important? And did you see Will building the cardboard pyramid stage earlier? Did you guys manage to see that?
Absolutely fantastic.
So could you do me a favour and just talk to everybody here now about how children might be inspired by that and how they might develop some ideas and what they could do with it and maybe examples. Did you ever make theatres when you were little girls, dare I use the phrase? Because I was a little boy once, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah, I did, and I also used to use cardboard boxes in my doll's house to make stories, and in a way that was like making mini theatres in themselves, making new places and stories, and imagining different things happening. So actually, a theatre is just a backdrop for where your imagination wants to go and different ideas and different ways of looking at the world.
Absolutely. I used to, when I was younger, I don't know how much my neighbours enjoyed it, but I used to put on magic shows for my neighbours and
brilliant.
for my dad. So I would get everyone in my living room and get them sat down and do some magic shows. But I think one of the cool things about theatre and storytelling is that you don't need loads of money to do it. All you need is your imagination and a few toilet rolls maybe to make your stage. And then you can go anywhere you like. And it's really, really cool as well if you've got a group of friends who share your passion for theatre and storytelling, and then you can get together, whether that's online, as we are at the minute, or face-to-face, to create stories together and act them out.
So I'd love to ask you both, I'm trying to do lots of stuff here at the moment. I'd like to ask you both a little favour. Would one of you go home this weekend and make a cardboard pyramid stage inspired by us, inspired by Glastonbury, inspired by everything that we're trying to do? And either of you fancy having a go at that?
I can certainly have a go. I don't know how good it would be though, and I don't think I've got enough toilet rolls.
We don't need to use toilet rolls. To be honest with you, I think what Will showed was that in fact just flat cardboard is just as good, and I think we just said toilet rolls just to make it feel a bit more accessible, to be honest. But
you know what, I've got some flat cardboard right here.
Where are we? I got the wrong shot. Show us that again. You got some cardboard, have you?
Yeah, right here. I thought that Sharon might want me to use it for making props. It's just an old cereal
kindness superhero. We've actually got some top tips for writing that we'd love to share with everyone.
Yeah.
So the first top tip is to find somewhere comfortable to write. It could be in your house, it could be outside in a park or in your garden, if you have one. The second one is that a story needs a really good character to make it interesting and fun for other people to hear. The third one is that the story needs a really good plot, so interesting things have to happen in the story, interesting events have to happen to keep your audience or your readers interested and involved. The fourth thing is that a story needs a really good structure. It needs a good beginning, middle and end. And then the fifth tip, as we said earlier, is just to have a little plan in place before you write your story, so then you know what's going to happen.
Good advice, good advice. So have either of you ever been to Glastonbury?
Yeah.
Never, no.
So I think you should, I think next year you should say, you should get in touch with the Glastonbury people, and you should say, well, actually, we were there last year. And they'll say, well, actually, no, you weren't, because we didn't have a Glastonbury last year. And you could say, well, actually, we were there, and we did a workshop just down the road, and blah, 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 because you're exactly the sort of people, you're the sort of creative people that I know are welcomed, that are actively encouraged to be part of the Glastonbury experience. And we've got somebody on Sunday, Tony Cordy, who he's our featured granddad on Sunday. And Tony Cordy runs the world's biggest free arts festival for children. And do you know where it is?
In Glastonbury.
It is Glastonbury. It's actually, he runs Kidsfield at Glastonbury.
Great.
Which is free, because I didn't know this, but all children are free at Glastonbury.
That's brilliant.
Obviously the parents have to pay quite a lot of money, which sadly excludes quite a lot of children. But
that's great.
I thought that was lovely. So I'm now going to do something a little bit sort of tricksy. So I'm going to show everybody what's going on here. And you've got YouTube on there, haven't you?
I closed mine down. I'm not very good at seeing myself when I'm performing.
Oh dear, we're not to worry. We'll get that back up, because I'm just going to take you off the screen there now and remind everybody that last night when I arrived, we were just finishing off, and it was a few dads, and I know there's some mums helping out as well, and we were all getting stuck in. Behind every dad there's a good mum. And we were building the pyramid stage there from cardboard tubes. There's a shot of it from a drone. We've got somebody locally who flies in with a drone. He took a photograph above it there. And there is the pyramid stage as we come into land, if you like. And this is just so exciting, because we are literally, these are the first photographs that we have ever seen of our pyramid stage. And I know it means so much to me, and I hope to you guys, to be part of this, because did you get emergency grant funding from the Arts Council? Did you manage to get help with that?
We did, yes. Brilliant. We were really lucky.
So that's what this is all about, really, because I'm now going to press a button and I'm going to show you the pyramid stage that we've built from the front. I don't know if you can see that. It's going to take a few seconds to come through. And I'm now going to zoom in a little bit closer, and I'm now going to press a button, and I'm going to put you both on our cardboard pyramid stage. I'm actually finding this quite an emotional moment, actually. There we go. You are now on the pyramid stage at Brookside Primary Academy. How cool is that?
Can I put this on my CV?
There you go. I have been to Glastonbury. I have been on a cardboard pyramid stage. There's a lovely phrase by a chap called Seth Godin that not a lot of people know about him, because he's in advertising and marketing, and the people in education don't know about that. But he said that it might not work, but here's the thing. The guy who invented the ship also invented the shipwreck. And either you're in or you're out. Either you want to play this game or you don't. Art isn't something we do that's boring and can be industrialized. Art is something we do that connects us. And either you're in or you're out. Art connects. And I can't thank you both enough for your support today, Bounce Theatre, Katie and Sharon. Just wonderful. Thank you so much. You are the first people on our pyramid stage. And you know what? If one child or one parent or one creative carer, maybe someone who hasn't got kids or whose kids have left, if one person this weekend gets some cardboard and makes a pyramid stage like this, all the pain, all the effort, all the stress, I've fallen out with good friends because of this, because they said I'm misleading people because there's not really a pyramid stage there. This is not a real pyramid stage, everybody. I have to hold this sign up. This is pretend. We are pretending because we can, because we've got an imagination. I was born creative. These guys were born creative. We are all born creative. The secret is to stay creative as we grow older. And that was a Picasso statement. Einstein, imagination can take you anywhere, and we're doing this today because we can. I said that Bob Geldof said that our festival would be like Live Aid but better. He didn't really say it. I pretended he did because I can, because I've got an imagination. Bob Geldof couldn't join us this weekend. He's got a lot on his plate apparently. Not to worry, he's done some great work. We're not bitter and twisted about that. The Glastonbury people have given us their blessing for what we're doing. They're not actively supporting it because they're busy enough with the BBC, and that's fantastic. But this is just such a wonderful moment. I'm very grateful to Mr. Walton, the whole school community there at Brookside Academy. Very grateful to you guys. Thank you very much. Keep tuned in, and if you do make a pyramid stage, be sure to save it. Hashtag pretend pyramid. Thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, well there you have it, the world's first cardboard pyramid stage at Glastonbury Festival. We built a stage, and all it needs now is you. It's a wonderful moment. We've had a fantastic first morning. We've just kicked off our first half day of activities under the loose banner of the hashtag Rocket Kids Club. All this stage needs now is you. We've got time slots during the day. We can get you on. We can get you on to join us. We can get you on to say a few words. We can get you on to perform. We want to hear your Glastonbury moments. If you're in Somerset or in London or Bristol or Edinburgh or Ireland or New York or Australia, we want you now to text us, to get in touch, go to our Facebook page, go to our YouTube channel, go to Twitter, send us a message. Malumba's in our office. I'm just going to check actually if he is in the office. Let me just press a button here and see if he's going to be there. Not that one, that one, that one. And let's position him over there somewhere. Malumba, can you hear me? Hello, Malumba.
I can hear you. Can you hear
Brilliant.
me?
I can hear you. Shall I put you on the pyramid stage? Would you like to be on the pyramid stage for your moment of glory?
I'd love to be on the pyramid stage.
There you are. You are live and direct on the pyramid stage. And as I have to say to people, this is pretend. Do not travel to Somerset. Do not travel to Brookside Primary Academy because there's nobody there. There are a few children being cared for. They've got small bubbles. We are making this up. We are pretending, and we're not ashamed to admit it. We're using our imaginations because we can. How are we looking for this afternoon, Malumba?
The afternoon is looking very, very beautiful.
Is it? Good.
I'm keen to hear you speak with Mark. I've had a couple of exchanges with him online, so it's been great.
Whoops.
Science Rapper is ready to go. Missy Edward, who is Marlon Edward's mother, they're all ready to go, and I cannot wait to hear him drumming. It's going to be great. So yeah, we've got a good afternoon.
So next is John the Science Rapper.
Not now. We're going for
lunch now, aren't we? I was going to say,
we're going to have a lunch break and
cool,
be back at 2.
Then. You did get me a little bit worried then. I've got to be honest.
No. We have a lunch break. We'll be back at 2. At 2 o'clock, you're going to casually bump, as one would, wandering the fields at Yo Glasgow. You're going to casually bump into Mark Anderson.
Oh, is he down here? Is he? Fantastic.
And talk about creative apps.
Oh, brilliant.
And I know that he's magically sent you some files to take a look at. So
brilliant.
On your lunch break, you've got a bit of homework to do.
So Mark Anderson, that's the incredible ICT evangelist, Mark Anderson. He's the coolest guy in Britain when it comes to tech and creative tools. He works with Adobe stuff, he works with Microsoft, he works with Google. If you need somebody in your school to help you use tech, and there's never been a greater time for tech now, and it's not just about the tech, it's about the creativity. Mark doesn't live in a tech bubble. He's not one of those geeky sorts. He understands how it connects with the real world. He can help head teachers, boards of governors, design and come up with IT strategies as much as he can help somebody in early years use an app to do some animation. So we're going to be having a chat with Mark. So he's down here. That's brilliant. And that's the thing I love about Glastonbury. That's the thing I love about festivals, is being able to just bump into people. Do you know what I mean, Malumba? It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, I think if you went to a festival and bumped into somebody like Tom Morley, how cool would that be? That would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Fantastic. And then later on, when the sun starts going down, there's the fire pit chats, which are very much looking forward to. And you know what else I'm looking forward to? Is the beer tasting.
The beer tasting, that's right. So we've got to tell people about that. We're really going to be pushing that tomorrow because today's Kids' Day. But basically, in a nutshell, the Co-op have picked 8 of their craft beers. Now, I don't know if you know much about the Co-op. At a corporate level, they're really cool, actually, because they're into community, they're into education, they're into doing their bit. The work that they're doing in schools and in their communities across the country is brilliant. Really, really good work. And a lot of it they don't brag and boast about. Steve Murrell's their chief executive, is a super guy, really, really passionate about doing the right thing. It's a tough place being a supermarket, and when you've got there's some of them that are just selling stuff really, really cheap and they don't care about the people who are getting paid. You've got some that are box shifting, some are very expensive and quite fancy. And the Co-op is an interesting brand because they have their roots in, if you like, the working class communities and cooperatives and people selling and buying food, but they've got to survive in a modern world. And from what I see, and I haven't read their strategy, but what I see and the way I see it is that they're trying to be a bit different. So they don't have these massive out-of-town stores. They've got stores in high street. So in 2 weeks, believe it or not, they're opening one up the road in Pilton, which is the village where Glastonbury is. And that's a week after, that's a week after the festival. So I'm hoping we can maybe get somebody down from the co-op to have a chat about that. They go to festivals every year. So at Glastonbury last year, there was a co-op supermarket. So their beer offer, they don't just have a bunch of cheap cooking lager. They have really good stuff, as well as a bit of cooking lager, because I can only afford cooking lager myself.
They've got quite a good selection. I go to the co-op quite often. Well, there's a co-op right on the Harrow Road,
just up by you. So basically, what they've done is they've picked 8 of their exclusive beers. So beers that you can't buy anywhere else. And I don't know if this is an exclusive one, but this is called Punk IPA, which I think is totally cool and certainly relevant for Malumba on stage there. This is from a brewery called Brewdog, who are actually quite big now, but they started independent. But we're going to pick 8 beers and we're going to say, go out and buy them. And as we drink them, we're all going to drink them together and share our thoughts and hopefully get a few experts in. The ultimate expert is Ed Finch, so I'm hoping he's going to be able to do that. We're going to do.
I was the beer expert.
You're not a beer expert, Malumba. So that's the co-op. Thanks to the co-op, they're sending us some bunting. And they've picked, well, we've picked 12 or 15, I think it was, people who really go beyond the call in BrewEd, which is an organisation for teachers to get together and share that 80% that we all have in common. And they do teacher conferences on a Saturday afternoon. They use their own time to go to do teacher conferences in pubs. They're called BrewEd. Ed Finch is joining us tonight at 4:30 with a really outspoken educationist from America who's going to be a real firebrand, you mark my words. Because he's in that 10%, and we need to listen to that, but we need to make sure we're all together on the 80%. So we're going to be, and Ed's a brilliant ukulele player, so we're going to get Ed on the stage playing his ukulele. I'm quite blown away by that. How good does that look, Malumba, that stage? Isn't that brilliant?
It's lovely, and especially when you put the bounce theatre on them, they looked really, really, really nice on there.
Great, wasn't it? So what we'll do is, I'm going to put a phone call out and see if I can get the guy. You know, did you see the drone film we had earlier where we filmed it with a drone camera, a little helicopter?
Yes.
I'm going to see if we can get him back, because I think we really do need a film of that now. What do you think? Do you think it'd be worth having?
Give it a go.
Give it a go. Well, I've got an hour and a half to make that happen. Thanks for your help, Malumba.
You've got a lot of homework.
I have got a lot of homework, haven't I?
Hour and a half, so I'm not quite sure you're going to have your lunch. You're going to have one of your noodle soups again.
Am I?
Noodle cups, is that what they're called?
Okay, I think so, yeah. Pot noodles or something.
Pot noodles.
Thanks, Malumba. See you soon. Cheers, man.
See you on the other side.
Thank you. I'm just a dad. I do what I can. Thank you for your support. I'm nothing. Malumba, Steamco, we're just a collaboration of creative carers, and we're nothing without you and your support. Thank you. I'm just dad, and I passionately believe that the future for our children, our communities, and our country lies in one thing: creativity. It can inspire our kids in their learning. It can create careers and connect communities. 10 years ago, after a trip to a festival, Camp Festival, I went back to my son's primary school and started a non-profit community enterprise called Steamco with other parents, teachers and local businesses. We ran mini creativity festivals. Steamco helps connect our kids with their art and our communities with their schools. Last weekend in that same playground, I filmed an amazing set by the legendary Glenn Matlock, co-founder of the Sex Pistols, and amazing global rock star Earl Slick, who used to play with David Bowie. It will be their performance at an event we've just been given permission to run in the playing fields of a school just down the road from Glastonbury. We're calling it #YourGlasto. It's one of 5 free 3-day Art of Community festivals that we're running all summer with the help of the Arts Council and funding from the National Lottery. Our first one was live streamed from Eden Project at the end of May and featured inspiring talks, uplifting performances, creative activities and community engagement. We had a fantastic performance by the blind and disabled young woman Kerper from Leeds. We had a great Saturday night set from Emily Capel, and Gaz Mayer even Skyped in from his hideaway in Wales. We had a right old laugh watching Rosemary Schrager teach Levois to cook, and we all split our sides with Basil Brush.
Technology is an amazing thing.
Punk icon Jar Wobble chatted with a grandad in Liverpool. On Sunday we had a little big lunch, and after that rockstar activator Tom Morley led a co-drum circle with hundreds of people all over the world, and we had a couple of great late night dance parties where people could Skype in with a green screen background and end up on the dance floor. As the CEO of the Arts Council has said,
let's ask, what if? Let's start a creativity revolution.
Let's create our Glasgow, my Glasgow, your Glasgow. Oh no, what have they done? What on earth is this? That's not what we ordered. Hey mate, what are you doing?
Whoa, what are you doing, mate? It's out of that area.
Oh, sorry, I've got a helmet, hang on. I mean, what are you doing setting up a scaffold pyramid stage?
Well, I've got my paperwork here to come here and deliver it. Really? Yes.
Well, you've got to take it down.
Take it down?
We wanted one made out of old cardboard boxes and loo rolls to inspire our kids to be creative. We want them to make their own at our Your Glasgow Festival next Friday.
Right, okay. Don, we've got to take it down. We're going to be all day. We're going to have to hurry up then because I want to get on and watch football tonight.
Thanks, guys. Wow, that was a close one. Hopefully those guys can take that down now, but I don't know what we're going to do about cardboard. Let me see if I can get hold of Malumba. Oh, there he is.
I just saw what happened on Twitter. That's hilarious. I'm looking forward to what we're going to do with all that cardboard.
Well, we've got to make a stage out of cardboard. Do you remember that? Well, who's that guy you had on last week? Who made
Will Alexander? Yes, absolutely.
Can you get him in on Friday, and he can show the kids how to make pyramid stages out of out of cardboard tubes like this, toilet roll holders, cardboard boxes, anything like that. And even maybe some of the kids can get some of these big cardboard tubes from the carpet warehouses. There's one just down where I am. And you could make you could make one in the garden and actually have your lunch in that, and maybe have a performance or a band in there.
We're gonna have a whole cardboard Glastonbury event kind of thing.
Well, fantastic. And I think that the pyramid stage at Glastonbury is a place for music, but we could redefine it almost. It's a place for all sorts of art. Kids could play music. We've got a theatre company coming in, and they're going to talk to the kids about making theatre and writing plays. If kids do a small one, they can make little characters. We've got a stop motion animation company who can show them how to make little films. We've got Adobe Premiere to do video editing. I think that's going to work quite well, don't you?
Absolutely. The possibilities are endless.
And the other thing we need people to be getting ready for, Malumbo, we need people to be art activists next weekend. We're going to do loads of workshops about art activism, which is changing the world with your art. And we want people to download this A4 sheet off our website, #ILoveArt. Draw a heart logo in there. Have you been doing any of these? Because you were going to do some, weren't you?
Absolutely. I've got one right here.
Oh. Wow, fantastic. My Glasgow. So can we print some of those onto T-shirts that people can use?
We can print as many as you want, and I'd love for people to be wearing them, expressing their love for not only Glasgow, but for the community, for the people on the street, especially in these times.
Brilliant. And if people take a photo holding their I Love Art sign, send it in, #ILoveArt, #YourGlasgow. We'll look out for 2 or 3 of those every day, and we'll print some free T-shirts and send them out. But if you don't want to risk it, we've got a whole load of T-shirts here. We're going to print these up with Malumba's design and any others that we can get, and you can buy these from our online store. And if anybody wants to do a poster, do one of these big posters, I Love Art posters. These are 3 guys from down, guys and girls from down at the Tabernacle in Notting Hill, where we also met this Glasgow legend, Charlie Phillips, who came to England years ago in the Windrush generation and is the Windrush generation official photographer, if you like. And he took photos at the first ever Glastonbury when he went down there with Arabella Churchill, who's Winston Churchill's granddaughter or niece, I think. Can't remember the connection. Wow. So if people want to print those posters, you can send the artwork off by midday and get them back the next day from a company called Solo Press. Or we're going to put a link on the website for how you can do it by just printing lots of sheets of A4 and sticking them together, because we don't need to be spending money. We can celebrate creativity and art without spending an awful lot of money. What do you reckon to that, Malumba?
This all sounds really great, Nick. It's going to be really a weekend of creativity, of making things out of nothing, literally. So that's really, really brilliant.
Brilliant. Well, I'll let you crack on, Malumba. Thank you so much for dropping in. Your Glasgow. By you, with you, for you. Be part of it with your art. sign up for information, to speak, to sing, or to help us in any way.